Tonight we watch wrestling, AEW, Dynamite, and we're having a couple of special guests. I got Sean John.
What's up, what's up?
My co-host is in the studio with me. I got Superfan. Superfan's going to be here for a few minutes. He's going to do an ad for us. I got
right.
Scott Diamond and Austin Diamond from Kepw down in Frankfort, Kentucky. AEW just started. These guys are going to be here in a few minutes, and you guys go ahead, Sean.
All right. One of our sponsors this week are Dings, Dance, and Details. Go talk to Joe at 1300 West Main Street, Lexington, Kentucky, 40508. You can reach their phone number at 859-327-3464. They specialize in dent removal, window tinting, auto detailing, ceramic coating, and PPF. I still personally don't know where PPF is, but yeah.
We will look that up at some point.
Maybe, possibly. And again, that's Dings, Dents, and Details. Talk to Joe. Tell him Nice Guy Andy sent you.
Go ahead, Johnny.
For anyone looking to have their very own championship belt, custom made, or either a championship that's already designed, look no further than Muhammad Jafar, the very man from Pakistan who made this belt right here that you see adjoining Nice Guy Andy's studio table. Trust me, guys, hit him up on Facebook, and he'll give you the deets. If you want a belt of your own, he's the guy to get it from. Because this belt right here, this got Anthony Presley's praise.
Oh, yeah.
And for all your internet gaming needs, Royal Lex on Facebook. Go look them up. They got all the games that you want to play, and they're giving away thousands of prizes every day. Just message them, or you can call them at 859-684-9176 and tell them Nice Guy Andy sent you over there, and will give you a free 5 to play.
Messenger audio.
Looks like Mr. Diamond's coming to call. Go down and meet him, Johnny. So Johnny's going down to meet Mr. Diamond. Mr. Diamond, you hear us? Johnny's coming down to see. Johnny's coming down to get you. So Mr. Diamond just got here. And for all your late night gaming needs, we got Royal Dark on Facebook too. You guys can look them up. They stay open. They open from 10 p.m. at night till 4 a.m. in the morning, and they will stay up for you, and so you can play, guys. And they also not giving away a bunch of money. You can win it, from those guys. So just hit us up, and you know what we be doing. This is Nice Guy Andy Podcast.
That's right.
And soon to come in the door is Sean Diamond,
Scott Diamond.
Scott Diamond, and Austin Diamond.
And we're just talking over the entrance of MJF, the special guest referee, in the cage match tonight between Wardlow and Shawn Spears. I'm kind of like MJF's look with the special referee shirts that kind of got the pattern to match his old gimmick. With the specially designed scarf, it looks pretty good. I want that customized ref shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Wardlow coming out with security a la Goldberg, but he's handcuffed per part of the policy with Scott Diamond.
So tomorrow night we're having a special guest. Tomorrow night special.
Mr. Diamond, welcome in, sir.
Come over here and sit down, Mr. Diamond.
Sit over here. Austin, you can sit here, brother.
Here.
How you doing, brother?
Guys, tomorrow night we're having TA, a comedian TA in the house, and his J-Rags.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, man?
Andrew, big man.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Nice to see you.
I love this guy, man. He is
know.
so awesome. There's a couple seats in there if you want to bring one of them in here. This your wife?
Yes, this is my wife, Jessica Diamond.
So, everybody, we got Scott Diamond over here. We got
didn't
Austin
agree to
Diamond
bring-
over here.
Oh, no, we didn't agree to bring her in here.
I'll tell you what.
It's cost extra for her. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Love you, love you. No, I'm the co-host, man. This is my show.
She's a pistol, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know
just to
what?
remind you, I gotta
If
go
you
home
were
with her.
nice,
Oh, yeah, you got to be nice.
I would
'cause you gotta
feel
go home with-
bad. I mean, you've always been nice to me, but if I don't give you a hard time, you think I don't like you.
I know, right? That's the way they all treat me.
Fits right in.
but I love that. She does, doesn't
Fits
she?
right in. But
I got to
just
get more
again,
mics.
Remember, I got
If you're going to get closer to Austin there,
then,
and you can share a mic
yeah,
with
nice
Austin.
then.
I generally charge for that service.
Yeah. Austin's I was so impressed at your show the other night.
Lord, yeah.
Austin was, I introduced myself to him, and he told me he was 15, and he was up there announcing
Good Lord.
like a freaking pro, like
Like a
he
boss.
had been doing it 100 years.
You know, Andy, he was fortunate. He grew up in this business.
Yes.
Oh,
he
yeah, I
has.
seen the pictures on his
Insta.
Facebook of him
So
a
he,
little bit younger.
You know, from the time that he came out, he's been in a wrestling ring, so it just comes natural to him.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Which I'm grateful because, you know, it's the legacy is him, not so much, you know, the career that I've had, which I've had a great career.
Yeah.
But my legacy is him, and so he's really coming and he's holding his own.
Oh, he's doing great.
Yeah.
Is he going to wrestle at some point? You going to wrestle at some point?
Most certainly, you know, I find it to be inevitable. Here we are 15 years in my entire life, I've been surrounded by pro wrestling. It's been quite literally inescapable. Even if I wanted to get out, it's too late.
Yeah.
You know, 15 years in, I'm synonymous with this. People go to shows, and when I'm not there because I'm out doing something else, you know, I'm a
Yeah.
busy man.
Yeah.
People ask about me, and you know what? That's
Yeah.
a great feeling. Hearing you compliment me and praise me, you know, that too, that's a great feeling. And I
You got the voice, dude. You got
Yes,
the
he
voice
does.
of this.
He's
And by the way, guys, the camera is right there. We see the little blue light.
Yeah.
If
Yes,
y'all guys want
that's
to
our
look at the
camera.
camera when y'all talk, that's cool.
Okay.
We got AEW Dynamite up on stage, up on the big screen.
Well, I
And-
just got to say to your viewers, and sorry to cut you off, Andy.
No, you go ahead.
You know,
cut me off.
I came straight from
you're
the big
you're
Doss man's
guest.
house, so
I'm sorry.
you know, my hair is looking a little wicked tonight. So
Okay, you're
Yeah.
fine.
I didn't bring my trademark fedora.
So everybody, if you don't know, this is the owner, Scott Diamond of KEPW in Frankfort, Kentucky, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. And we went down there, me and Johnny went down there last Saturday, and they had Battleground. Their like little pay-per-view they had, like little show. And me and Johnny were so impressed with y'all's place down there.
Thank you.
First time that I'd been there, and y'all had a really good color
Thank you.
scheme, the black and the blue like we have here.
You know, I can't take all the credit for that. You know, my partner, the big Doss man,
Uh-huh.
phenomenal guy. You know, anything that I need to do, anything that he needs to do, you know, we've made KEPW a household name. But
Yeah.
again, you know, I didn't do it by myself. The big Doss man, my partner, phenomenal guy. Like I said, anything that I ask for, anything that we need, anything that KEPW needs to take us to that next level, the big Doss man is right there, and he's doing whatever it takes. And including, as you've seen at Battlegrounds, main eventing the big Doss man,
Against
you know,
Iron
gone
Man
to hell
Cody
and
Man.
back
Oh, yeah.
inside the steel cage.
That was awesome.
And, you know, and just for those folks that have never been inside a steel cage, let me tell you, you know, I've been building fence for over 30 years. Chain link fence, again, it's steel.
Yes.
You know, let that soak in for just a moment. It's steel.
Oh yeah.
What happens when you put steel up against flesh?
Not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. But the big Doss man, you know, at
Like
Battlegrounds,
right
he's-
now, they're having a steel cage.
yeah, right
Speak
here
of
at
the devil.
AEW, steel cage. And again, you know, I've been around the steel for 30 years. And I'm telling you, it's unforgiving. And for the big Doss man, and I don't want to take nothing away from the Iron Man, Cody Matthews, either.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for these two men to get into the steel cage and beat each other from pillar to post, just the match alone is exciting. You know, it's main event. But when you add that steel,
Yeah.
look out, because it's just went
Yeah.
to the next level for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah. He kicked out. Wardlow kicked
Yeah,
out of
kicked
it.
out of
MJF kicked him in the
C4.
balls. Did you see that?
Yeah, kicked him in the nuts. Then he hit him with the running
Oh.
Death Valley driver, and Wardlow kicked out. And MJF, who's firmly in the back pocket of Shawn Spears, or Shawn Spears in his pocket, on his side, just telling great stories right there.
So, what's your favorite, Scott? What's your favorite wrestling right now? What do you watch?
I'll tell you what I watch. I watch independent pro wrestling.
Okay.
Do not let me take anything away from these guys on
No,
the big stage.
that's
you know,
what we do,
AEW, TNA, you know, WWE, all these guys, all the big dance. You know, they're doing great things. But for me, and again, I've been doing this a long time, and I was fortunate enough to do a match one time with one of the big companies, not WWE, but another one. I don't want to mention it. But as much fun as I had doing that, I enjoy the independent circuit better than anything, and I'll tell you why, Andy. We all start out on the independent circuit. We all start out there. And as Kevin Sullivan said, one of the greatest of all time right there,
Yeah, he really is.
we all started in the independent pro wrestling scene. Even if we go to the big dance, we start and we end at the independent pro wrestling level.
Yes.
Which, and don't get me wrong, you know what? WWE and all these other big companies, they're putting out top quality matches. But when you go to an independent, you're still getting top quality matches.
Oh, yeah.
And the difference that separates us from the big dance, we get that communication, that connection. You know, I have watched kids grow up, and when I come to shows and I see these children and they say, hey, Scott Diamond, I seen you on TV last Saturday, or, you know, hey, Scott Diamond, when I was a little kid, my mom took me to see you at wrestling, you know. And now they're grown adults wanting to get into the wrestling business.
Yeah.
So the independent pro wrestling scene is the best out there, bar none.
That's why we want to affiliate ourselves with the independent wrestling scene too. We started out watching, you know, the big leagues, and then like we went to a few indie shows. We, Tony Presley here in Lexington. He's awesome.
He said,
and he had some of the guys
earlier. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Andy, but he said earlier, love you, brother, Scott, Austin, Andy, and Shawn.
Hey, let me tell you, Tony, the feeling's mutual, brother. And, you know, Tony's a veteran, too.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
You know, and
He
that's
is.
the thing near and dear to my heart. You know, I'm a Marine. Tony was in the Navy.
Yep.
When you get, again, independent pro is the best thing going out there. But when you get a veteran, and I'm going to put these veterans over, not just because I am one, but because it teaches you a mindset. You know, if you're a veteran and you've been through the Navy, you've been through the Marine Corps, you've been through the Army, whatnot, that gives you a mindset, a drive like no other.
Yeah.
And when you come out, wrestling is similar to that. You really need that drive. It's tough, just like the military is. And Tony brings that. And, you know, the Doss Man, he too is a veteran. So myself, the Doss Man, Tony, all these veterans that you get to come out and they get into these pro wrestling scenes, let me tell you, those are the guys that really take it to the limit, because that was their livelihood for however many years they were in the service. So, Tony, I love you, man. You're doing great things. I look forward to do more things with you, and I appreciate the
cool.
love.
That'd be cool if you guys could like
Work together.
in the middle of the summer, kind of like have a forbidden door thing where y'all both came together and had a big ass show. That would be even a couple other promotions around, maybe maybe just a Kentucky All-Star event like that happens
that
all
idea.
year, like KEPW and New South and maybe New Gen and all these other guys just come together like one big ass show.
You know, we have done that in the past, and I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but Tony and I have been speaking on a
yeah.
project.
Yeah. Let the cat out of the bags.
No.
Can't do it tonight.
Can't
Can't
do
do
it.
it tonight, but I'll tell you this.
So they cross the
When it
T's and
happens,
dots the
yeah.
O's.
It'll be released right here on this
Yeah,
podcast.
that's great. You and I would love to
You
have
heard
you
it here
and
first.
You will get the
Win
exclusive.
something.
I'd love to have you and Anthony, maybe even Doss Man come in too at the same time, maybe.
Why?
Whoever else wants to be involved.
We have some great
I love Doss Man.
independent pro companies here in the state of Kentucky.
Yes, we
Again,
do.
you know, we talk about Kentucky Elite. We
Yeah.
talk about New South. You know, Ultimate Championship Wrestling. Right there, you know, UCW and Terry England. I'm going to shout out to you too, brother. I love you. Many, many years down the road, you and I. And I'm going to see you down the road again, Terry. You know,
Where are they located?
Terry, he goes all over the state of
Okay.
Kentucky. But the big thing with Terry England, and I know you don't like this when we talk about you, Terry, but when it comes to promoting a wrestling program, Terry has done it longer than anybody in the state of Kentucky, and that, my friend, is something to be reveled in, because
Heck
that
yeah.
doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Bobby
man.
Rassel says, looks like we have to take a trip to Kentucky from the All About Wrestling podcast.
Yeah, we have
They just-
another wrestling podcast that we collab with. Well, we just started being friends with them, and they called into our last show. Bobby Wrestling. It's what is it called? All About Wrestling.
All About Wrestling podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank
All About
you,
Wrestling.
Johnny.
By the way,
and,
Johnny,
Andrew Do Browning.
super
We
fan.
love him to death. Super fan Andrew Do Browning.
Yes.
Says Doss Man is the man. Diamonds are forever.
Love you, Drew.
We're trying to get him in here as well. He's a great.
Look, here's another kid, if I may. Again, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
I have watched Andrew, as well as many of these youngsters,
Uh-huh.
from a very small age.
Yep.
Andrew, I have watched him grow up.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, what a young man he is. One of the greatest wrestling fans you'll ever find. And that's very important in what we do.
Yeah.
In any kind of market.
Well, we have fans on the show all the time.
It's, you know, you guys know as well as I do, when you're marketing a product, you want to get those people that are loyal, that love your product, not only loyal to you and loving your product, but they love your product enough, like Andrew Do Browning, that they will talk about your product to every person that they talk to.
Yeah.
Again, I've watched this young man grow up. Love you, Drew. Your grandmother, say hello. If we had just one Andrew Do Browning in every crowd, the entire crowd would be nuts.
And you probably got 10 in the crowd.
And we've got more than him. And
10
we're
to
grateful.
15, just like that. Like I got super fan Johnny Lee right over here.
Yes, Johnny, another guy. You know what?
Johnny's awesome.
These are the people that we just yearn for.
Yeah.
Because with independent pro wrestling or any
Andrew Browning
marketing
says,
that
hey,
you bring
Miss
out,
Jessica, how are you?
excuse me, when you find fans like this, they're irreplaceable.
Yeah.
They're irreplaceable.
Oh, yeah.
So, I want to shout out to Johnny over there.
Yeah, Johnny. Very much. Wait, what was you saying, Austin?
I was just going to build on what he was saying. You know, most certainly the Johnnies of the world, the Andrews of the world. It's just a real privilege when you've got somebody that will gladly come in night after night to see your product that you've got to put out. And you know what? They'll go home and they'll talk about it at school and they'll talk about it at work and they'll tell their family, their friends, their brothers, their cousins, their sister. And you know what? You can always rely on them because they come back night and night and night again.
Yeah.
To see the product. You know, they're invested not only in the show itself, but the people within. And again, that's just another thing, like he was saying about independent wrestling, that you can't necessarily get on a grander scale. You know, people go because, oh man, WWE's in town. Who's on the card? Nobody cares, but it's WWE. You know what? When you come to see Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, people come to see the Big Doss Man. People come to see Scott Diamond.
And you get to meet those guys.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Like, I just walked right up to Scott and said, introduced myself, and like, now y'all are on my show. Like, he was such like I'm just a fanboy that's in the crowd, just like everybody else. But he gave us the opportunity, and me and you was
enjoy
talking.
time with your kids, Tony Presley. There's nothing like that, brother.
And me and
Spend time with your
Austin was
kids.
talking the whole show about audio and
we
stuff like that. I was
appreciate you.
trying to give him a little tips. This guy knows how. You ought to get him to teach your wrestlers how to talk on the mic because he knows how to do it. Like, he holds it away from his mic. Like, some of the other guys, like some of the pro wrestlers, they get excited and they're like the mic is right up on their mouth and it starts popping and stuff. But like, this guy knows how to use a mic.
You know, most children, when they're growing up, they get a pacifier, they get a bottle.
You gave him a
You handed him a
microphone.
mic.
Austin Diamond started out right with a mic. You know, he didn't need no
Austin
pacifier, no bottle, none of that stuff. He stepped right up, stepped right in.
Heck yeah.
Been training many, many years, all of his life, as he said.
Oh yeah, you can
Brandon
tell. You can
Doss.
tell.
What's
He's like a
up,
veteran.
Big Brandon.
Hey, is that Big Brandon?
Brandon
Big Brandon
Doss.
Keith. Hey, let me just for a moment talk about this young man.
Oh,
Here's a guy, big guy, loves the wrestling business. He too has been a part of it for a long while. His the Big Doss Man is his uncle.
Yes.
I could not tell you the difference a few years makes. When I came in and took over Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling about 5.5 years ago, they had just run a couple of shows.
Right.
Brandon was a young man who was hungry. I mean, so hungry to just get his teeth into this business called pro wrestling. You know, it's not an easy thing to do,
No.
especially when you're a bigger guy like Brandon. You know, the joints take a heck of a beating every night, your hips, your knees, and things. And Brandon's had times with his knees. But here's a kid right here, and I've got to say, even at one point, I was starting to doubt him just a little bit. But, man, let me tell you, through the health issues that he had, he kept fighting, he kept grinding, he kept crawling, and he progressively got so much better. He has changed so much in the last 5.5 years, and I'm going to give you a big shout out, Brandon. You're doing a great job. You're going to be one of the best bookers ever to come down the pike in time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And if I could double down on what he was saying, you know, Brandon's one of those guys from the night I picked up the stick for the first time in front of the people, you know, he believed in me and he's like, brother, if you've got anything you want to know, any advice, anything, just let me know. And you know what? He made sure going into it that I wasn't nervous. I had no anxiety going into it. And you know what? Ever since, he's been one of a handful of people that night after night, he's got feedback for me, and it's always positive. And that's just another one of those things that I genuinely
I'm
appreciate.
so impressed with this guy's
Shout out to
voice.
Brandon.
I'm so impressed with your voice, man. I wish I had
Just
your
as
voice.
a fan,
I wish I had your voice, Austin.
right?
I'll sell it to you.
I know we all do.
Look, he'll sell it to you. He'll sell it.
I know, right? I know. I can tell you, he can probably sell.
I'll tell you
yeah.
a quick funny right here one time. It's not fair to give out the numbers because I don't like to talk about what people make and stuff. But,
Yeah.
I've been all over the country.
Yes.
So we were up in a show in Indiana. I don't know, Austin, preteen, might have been 9, 10, something
Yeah.
thereabouts. And so he comes to me, and again, he grew up in this business, and this just proved it to me right then and there. At the end of the show, he says, ha, 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 what'd you make tonight, Dad? And I made pretty good when I'm on the road.
Yeah, yeah.
And he says, you know what? He made like $20, $25 more than I did that night. And I
Oh,
said,
wow.
Wait a minute, you wasn't even on the show. He said, but I sold this, and then I sold this, and this I sold 3 different times. So,
Heck yeah.
props to Austin Diamond.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
right,
He is
brother.
one hell of a hustler, one hell of a worker. When it comes time to put in the work, he does it.
Keep it up, man. Keep it up. So how long have you been announcing?
So I started announcing in August of 2021, and we had a little stint where we had to take some time off due to building politics.
Yeah.
But we came back full time a few months back, and we've just been killing it ever since. And,
Yeah.
Night after night, again, not to toot my own horn, but as Arn Anderson would say, toot,
Toot,
toot.
toot.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Coming back and hearing that I'm progressively getting better, not only within my own head, but coming from other people, it's very reassuring
Yeah.
and just doubles down on the love for the business.
Yeah, even that you just quoted Arn Anderson is impressive because you know the history of wrestling and
Okay.
stuff. So
So let me give you another one, Andy.
yes,
Keep that in mind. Same mindset, right? He's quoting Arn Anderson.
yes,
So I had a match one night with Rob Terry. Big guy, genetic freak, muscles on top of muscles.
yeah,
And so after the show, we're in the back, and Rob Terry is talking to Austin Diamond. And so Rob Terry says, hey, kid, come over here. He said, who's your favorite wrestler? And, of course, Austin Diamond is, he's schooled in the history of our business.
Yes.
Very traditional young man, not just because he's my son, but, he does his own work. He does his own homework, as we like to call it.
yeah,
He's very versed and schooled into not only what's going on right now, but also the history of our business, which is very important. And so Rob Terry is speaking to him in the back, and he says, well, who's your favorite wrestler? And so Austin says, past, present, future.
What?
yeah.
And so Rob Terry, right away, he's just like shocked. Well, of all time, he says. Austin says, Dory Funk Jr.
Oh, okay.
Rob Terry jumps up, which that's a feat in itself to get all that muscle off of the sofa. He jumps up and he looks at me and he says, what the hell does he know about Dory Funk Jr.? And are you sure he's a kid? I think he's a little person because I try to talk to him like a kid, and
Yeah.
you can't do that. You have to talk to him like an adult,
Yeah.
or he will overshadow your conversation.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Like he
that's
just
like
did
you were saying, it
mentioning
was
Dory Funk Jr.
yes.
Wow.
And, he's just so versed in the tradition of what we're doing. Not only was he telling Rob about Dory Funk, of course you can't talk about the Funks without talking about the Funker.
Yeah.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk.
And so Austin says, well, yeah, I know about him too. He won his first heavyweight title in May of 1974. And Rob Terry he was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted that at 7, 8, 9 years old, whatever it was, here he is talking about Terry Funk's first title reign.
Yeah.
Decades before he ever came about. Talking about Dory Funk Jr. Decades before he was ever born. I mean, he's very versed in our business and our traditions.
Yeah, my son Noodles is like that. He's a podcast. He comes with a podcast too, and he's only 11. He knows a lot about like old wrestling too. Like not as like Terry Funk.
After
but he knows.
hearing that,
Yeah.
I've got some competition with my wrestling knowledge.
I know, right?
Yeah, we got
guy
a wrestling
knows-
genius over
I
here.
This guy's a wrestling
That
yeah.
might be the real
I might have some
right there.
competition here.
Hey, don't worry, brother. I'm not going to come on your show and embarrass you.
He
Thank
might
you
come on
very
here and
much.
embarrass us all here. Is what I'm thinking.
It's like he might just take over the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the
Oh
money
no, we
talks, I'll walk. How you
appreciate
doing?
you, Austin. No, this is great. It's we kind of did a thing. I know that a lot of the things. See, even I didn't know, and much as a fan of the Funker I am, I didn't even know the exact date he won the title. So you got one on me.
And
Yeah.
and he was 9 years old.
He was 9 at the time,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm
So, I mean,
He's got
not
6
9
more
years
years
old
of
now.
knowledge is added to that.
Look, if I gave out my age, it'd probably come wheel me away. But
Oh, well, me too, right?
he again, he could probably put us all to shame here. And I've
Yeah.
been studying this craft since 1971. So
Good Lord.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, some people do call me that.
Matthew
Oh,
Taylor.
yeah, me too, right? That's funny.
Matthew Taylor. Much love to the show, Monk.
That's my nephew. What's up, Neff?
Matt,
Yeah, I got the everybody.
Brandon just spoke up earlier. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you
Mr.
go ahead.
Diamond. He goes, appreciate everything, just doing what I love and doing it with family. That
Amen.
was Brandon Doss doing that.
amen.
so-
He is definitely family.
yes, he is.
It's kind of something that I was touching on early on. Watching these kids grow up, you do become family with them.
You do.
Countless birthday parties. And speaking of birthday parties, I'm going to go ahead, instead of me telling this story, I'm going to shoot this over to Austin. One of the best birthday stories ever of all time in the wrestling business. Austin?
I gotta say, it's just an absolute honor in hindsight, and then too, to be able to say that Rikishi of all people flew in to come see Austin Diamond. But don't worry, the pleasure was all his, fellas. But you know what? That picture,
I love this guy.
Ding ding.
that picture is still, very near and dear to my heart because he was one of many fans of mine, even at that time.
Yeah, he really likes Kentucky wrestling.
Yeah.
Mr. Rikishi.
Rikishi, great guy.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
great
he
guy.
is.
I'll tell you how great a guy. For Austin's, I think it was his 6th, maybe 7th birthday, I had booked Rikishi for that Saturday night. We was going to fly him in on Saturday morning. He was going to do the show, and then we were going to put him up in a nice room the night after the show, and then he was going to fly back on Sunday. Let me tell you how nice this guy is, Rikishi, and he too works with Tony over at New South.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And I'm sure Tony will tell you the same thing. Rikishi is such a good guy. Look, he says to me, "Oh, it's your son's birthday. I'll come in a day early." And I said, what will that cost me? He said, "No, I'm a family man." He says, "I'm coming to your son's birthday party
No shit. That's-
because
that's awesome.
I want to be at his birthday party."
Much respect to
Didn't charge
Rikishi.
me a dime. Didn't charge me a
What
dime.
a great guy, then. What
Great
a great
guy.
guy. Thank you, Rikishi, for doing that for
Thank
Mr.
you,
Austin.
Rikishi.
And thank you for the respect and the love.
Yeah. Hopefully he's watching. I'd love to have him on the show at some point.
Great guy. He'll be back in town soon.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we know. Yeah, we're looking forward to the New South June 24th. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They're
You guys got a
honoring,
new. You guys got another show coming up soon, don't you?
We have Respect coming up June 4th.
June 4th.
June 4th.
That's
Again,
a Saturday night.
it is a Saturday night. Our heavyweight champion, a phenomenal young man. He's been winning all
Good
over the
Lord.
country.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
came back from Oklahoma. The gold-blooded killer, Omega.
Okay.
Omega.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you, this cat has been around 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But he is going to be around. You might put another 10 digits on the front of that because he's going to be around just as long as myself and some of these other vets because he is so good at what he does.
Yes.
And again, he's only 4 or 5 years in.
Yeah.
This cat's going to be around for another 30 years.
So when he goes to Kansas City, does he take your belt with him and does he rep you guys there?
He certainly does.
That's awesome.
Nice.
He certainly does.
So he goes there and
Awesome.
says he's the KEPW
KEPW
champion.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they allow him to defend that championship.
Oh wow.
And
So
if
it
you know
cool.
anything
really is
about,
the KPW World Champion because he travels.
He travels
well.
all over the United States,
Ah.
but he doesn't leave the states.
Yeah.
Now we've had champions in the past at places that I've worked with. Another great guy, Chase Owens.
Yep.
Worked with him in another company, and he was taking our belt to Japan and defended it and whatnot.
That's cool.
So some of them are world titles, but our Kentucky Elite is just a national title, if you will.
yeah, we got our own world title right here.
Yeah, I've seen that. It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got a new one coming too.
I kind of recognize this guy on the side a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into that, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know,
The handsome
but
fella.
when Tony has his next show on the 24th of June,
yes.
they are going to honoring a great man we know from out in Georgetown. That's where I met you. Became a great fan of you there. Honoring Gentleman Jim Chadwick. They're going to put him
Really?
in the New South Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
On June 24th.
Yes, sir.
I'll be there.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
I'll be
okay.
there.
Y'all heard it
'Cause
here
I
first.
remember working
I'll
with
be there. When it comes to Gentleman Jim Chadwick, we spent about 10 years together rest his soul.
God
Look,
love him.
talk about a guy. This guy, I mean, he could be the nicest guy in the world. And at the flip of a hat, if somebody disrespect, not just a fan booing or something like that, but if you disrespected the sport of professional wrestling around Jim Chadwick, all 5'10" of him, 140 or 50 pounds, whatever it was, he turned into a badger. Yeah. Great guy,
really
great career, and a great memory, without a doubt.
Very funny guy. Very funny guy.
I'm going to tell this story about Gentleman Jim Chadwick that not a lot of people know. It's one of my proudest personal moments with Gentleman Jim. I was doing some training. I got married July 14, 2007. Shout out to my wife, Crystal. Love you, baby.
Hey, Crystal.
But the day after we got married, they were running a show at the National Guard Armory. That's where I met Andy back in 2008. But this was 2007. I met my... we went there, and after the show, I was getting a ride home from somebody. And after the show, Jim comes out, sees me there with a bunch of my belts, and, came up, shook my hand like a brother handshake, because he's like, good to see you. I said, yeah, Jim, this is my wife. We just got married yesterday. Not you, Andy. I didn't mean
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Okay. We all understand that, I think.
Hey, a tax break is a tax break.
Yeah, I know, right. Exactly.
But I
He has
said-
good insurance.
That's right, baby. My buddy Daniel Larson said Jim could clear out a room if he wanted to, but the promise thing is he gave my wife a big hug, and he gave me an actual man-to-man handshake, not the brother, they do
Right
the
on.
limp handshake.
Right on.
But he gave me that and told us congratulations. It was at that moment I would have Jim's back forever, just for doing that.
I tell you, you're not going to find a guy in Kentucky that's been here longer than 10 years that
don't
doesn't
have a Jim
something.
Chadwick story.
Exactly.
Exactly.
If you've been at least in Kentucky for the last 10 years, you've got a Gentleman Jim Chadwick story. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
And most of them, he kept his clothes on. Not all of them, but most of them, he kept his clothes on.
That's funny.
I had the
Yeah.
honor of inducting Jim into a Hall of Fame one time at a company. I actually was the general manager there of that company, and each year, we like to pay homage to those guys that came before us. And Jim was getting sick, and it was inevitable anyway. He's already been in so many Hall of Fames. I just wanted him to be a part of a Hall of Fame that I had a part of. And so I had the honor of putting Jim into a Hall of Fame at one time, which I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Such a humble guy, when
really
you
was.
give him things like that.
Such a funny manager.
Yeah.
He was such a funny guy.
He was somebody, if I was seeing something on TV and I didn't understand it, I could message him, and he'd explain it to me.
Oh, certainly. Again, I have one of those stories. I've traveled all over the country, and I started down south. I was in Virginia one night, and, when a lot of people come at you, you got to get rid of them quick.
Yep.
So I was throwing fire left and right, and let me tell you, they was dropping like flies. And so Jim Chadwick, knowing, because I met him here in Kentucky, he didn't know what state I was in. He just took it for granted because I met him here in Kentucky that I was throwing fire in Kentucky. And really quick, he sends me a private message that says, look, brother, you're not allowed to do that. I'm just watching out for you. And what a great thing to do, because you know what? He did not have to do that. I mean, we've both been in this business a long time. But he had respect enough for me that when he thought that I was doing something illegal in Kentucky, that he wanted me to know. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's
Jim
a real.
was right there with advice all the time.
That's a real friend, a person that can say, "Hey, watch out what you're doing. You're not doing the right thing or something." And a lot of friends would just not even, but somebody that would go out of their way to let you know, give you a little education.
You know what that is, Andy? That is the love for professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Jim knew. Jim knew at some point Gentleman Jim's career was going to be over. He's going to have to retire.
Yeah.
Same as Scott Diamond knows. When it comes time and it's getting very close, I'm going to retire. But the thing that Jim tries to preserve, the thing that I try to preserve, the Big Doss Man, a lot of these vets, Tony, Rikishi, the thing that we want to preserve is not so much our career as we do the tradition of professional wrestling. Yeah. Because if we preserve professional wrestling, then not only will we have a great career, Austin have a great career, all these young men have an opportunity, young women have an opportunity. As long as we protect that tradition, this will go on forever.
Yep. Exactly. That's well said there. Well said, Mr. Diamond. That's awesome.
Nancy Roberts said, hi, Austin and Scott. Hello, Miss Nancy.
Much love to her.
Love you, Nancy.
Much love to her.
What a beautiful person. You know, we were talking earlier about these great fans like Andrew and John. Miss Nancy and her mother, rest her soul, Miss Viola. We all affectionately just called her Grandma. You know, this woman was 90-plus years old. And let me tell you, anytime Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling had an event,
she was there.
Miss Viola was there.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you how much we think about her and how much it means to us in the business that we think about our fans. Miss Viola was the very first inaugural inductee into the Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
Well deserved.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that you have, like, you could, dedicate something to a fan like that. Ooh. That's awesome.
Without
Speaking
the fans,
of the
we
Funker,
wouldn't.
look at the shirt Eddie Kingston has on.
Eddie Kingston has a
Terry Funk
Funk U shirt on.
Hey, Funk forever.
Yeah,
you know,
Terry Funk's awesome.
He's
my son Leon Lexington does a really great funk personality impersonation, don't he, Shawn?
Right.
Leon does a funk impersonation.
Oh, nice.
You know, there's a few people that they will never be another, and Terry Funk is one of those
Andrew
guys.
Browning said, Scott Diamond will never retire. Diamonds are forever.
Well,
Thank you, Drew.
I think that's. I don't know if that's true because I think
Honorary member of the Diamond Club.
Didn't you tell me that you're going to retire soon? You said you're having a special show for your retirement.
You know, years ago when I first came to Kentucky, I'd been here a little while, but I was making so much money that a promoter came to me and he said, "Look, I know your birthday's coming up. We're making so much money off of you." Of course, they wasn't sharing a whole lot of it with me.
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
They never did.
Basically, myself and the Cartel, we were carrying this company. And we knew it. And after a while, we wanted compensated for that. And so this fella comes to me and he says, "Look, I want to take your birthday and wrap a whole show around it."
Okay.
The first annual Scott Diamond Birthday Bash in Battle Royal, 2012, 2013, somewhere thereabouts. And so I wanted to do it this year, but COVID kind of messed things up. So on the 2023 Scott Diamond 11th Annual Birthday Bash, Scott Diamond will be putting his boots in the center of the ring. And, man, that's a tough thing. You know, it's a tough thing.
Yeah.
You know, I get a little emotional talking about it because, again, this is something that I love. Other than my family and the Marine Corps, there's nothing I love more than pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really hard to step away. Again, just talking about it, you know, it kind of messes me up a little bit. And
I can tell you get a little emotional about it. That's fine.
I do, you know, because I love this so much. You know, it saved my life. The day my father passed away, I was in a wrestling ring. You know, that's what he would have wanted. You know, God bless him. My pop lent me the money, and I'm going to say lent because if I don't, he's going to look down and say, "You know, I wasn't giving you the money."
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he was such a wrestling fan that he lent me the money to train, and he was there. As a matter of fact, the first Diamond Bash, it was on a Saturday night. The previous Wednesday, my father had a stroke. Of course, he went to the hospital. It was kind of bad. It led into a heart attack and whatnot. And so he stayed until Friday, and he said, "Okay, you guys have had your couple of days. I'm leaving." And they said, "No, you cannot leave. You're really in bad shape." And he started pulling the wires and all that stuff out of him. And he says, "Look, my son has a special event this Saturday.
I got to be there.
I'm going to be there." And let me tell you, he was there.
Heck
He
yeah,
was there.
was.
And not only that, I've got
Shout
a picture.
out to Papa
Pops.
Diamond.
My Pops, man.
Yeah.
One of the greatest wrestling fans of all time was my dad. And here it is. It starts with my dad, you know, and my uncle when we seen Bobo Brazil in the Atlanta airport in 1971. And from that, it stemmed from my dad to myself and now my son. And so, you know, you have to understand why it really makes me emotional.
We're starting to understand. You're letting us know.
It's
Hey.
you know,
We
it's,
love your stories.
Yes, we do.
Oh God, there's a million of them. But you know, it's very humbling. It really is.
Yeah.
It's very humbling.
Yeah.
as much as I hate to put him over, it'll all go straight to his head. Don't worry, gentlemen. But to be able to carry on such a big family thing is just an absolute honor, man. Like he was saying, it started
Are you
with
sure
Cox.
you're not carrying on his legacy, even though you're
I might
doing it
be. I
longer?
might be. Yeah.
He's so mature for his.
And I can tell you this.
he's like a 30-year-old in a
Even-
15-year-old body.
It sounds like Rob Terry all over.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to put my boots in the center of the ring this January, this coming 11th annual Diamond Bash, if it comes a time in the state of Kentucky, I will give you this exclusive. In June, we're going to another state. Even though he's been asked to do some shows here in the past, he will be involved in his first wrestling match at 15 years old coming up in June.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay. So
Wow.
you have been practicing.
He's been training.
Training. Yeah.
Yes.
Have you been training? Like, how long have you been training to be a wrestler?
So, I've been doing it on and off for a few years now.
Yeah.
But I really got serious about it once I turned 14. Because
Yeah.
once I turned 14, Pops looked at me, and at that point, it was no longer just a game. It was no longer just a hobby. It was either commit or quit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep at night if the option was quit. That's not what we do. That's not what we're known for. It's not what we've ever done. Shock and awe, it didn't change then. Here we are going on, 2 years later, I'm turning 16 in September, and everything's been going strong ever since. And we're not going to change that anytime soon. It's only straight up from here.
Future champ right here. Future champ.
Right, brother.
I can see it right now. Future champ within,
He's already got the gift of the gab.
And, here's the big thing, and this is the part that really makes me proud. He's paying his dues. A lot of people talk about going around paying dues, and, they come in, they train a little bit, and they say, well, I train, that's paying my dues. No, that's not paying your dues.
No.
Austin, from the time that he could walk, he's carried in ring posts. He's helped set up the ring. He's set up chairs. This is just not, he's been just training now for 2 years, seriously. But he's been paying his dues for years. And that's so much more than just training. And a lot of the guys want to forget that sometimes because they're so hungry to make a name for themselves, they forget about really paying dues.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really proud of Austin. Even though he's not been able to get into the ring in the state of Kentucky, he's set up many a ring. He's set up many a chairs. He's sold popcorn. He's done whatever is needed to be done. He's done it.
So what is the age of being able to
You have to be
Be a
18
pro-
years of age.
Okay. So I have to be 18 years of age. to be
Yeah,
a
the
pro
state
wrestler?
of Kentucky, there's times that you have an exception to the rule, no matter what the rule is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's some great guys out there. Jamie Northstar was one. Austin's another one. Myron Reed was another one. There was a lot of young men that came into this business very early, but they weren't able to do it in the state of Kentucky. And the reason being is they were an exception to the rule, these gentlemen that I just mentioned, these young men. Excuse me. They were exception to the rule, but the state of Kentucky knows that there's so many other people that try to get into our business, and it's a dangerous business.
Yes, it is.
Make
dangerous.
no mistake about it. People die
Yeah, they
in
do.
the wrestling ring.
They do.
I've done shows with guys who died right at ringside.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so, it's a very dangerous sport. And when you have these guys who are the exception to the rule, there's so many more that just don't pay their dues, that don't make it. They come in, and this is not just any size guys. One of the things that really pisses me off is when a guy or a girl comes to me and says, oh, I'm fat, I don't have the body. Oh, I'm only 5'4", 160 pounds, I don't have the body.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
Look at this. Dusty Rhodes, arguably one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
One of the greatest of all
Where's
time.
the
Yes, he is.
argument,
Hey,
though?
when there was hard times, it was Dusty Rhodes. Anybody hears hard times, they think of Dusty Rhodes. Then you turn around and you go on the other side of the spectrum. Rey Mysterio Jr.,
Oh, tiny.
155 pounds, wins the most coveted heavyweight championship in the business at 155 pounds. So you go from 155 pounds of 5'4" of Rey Mysterio to 350, 6'2" of Dusty Rhodes. Brother, let me tell you, there's so much in between there. If you want to be in this business, if you got the desire and the dedication to pay your dues,
Exactly.
Yeah.
you can do it. But make no mistake about it, it's not easy. It's not something that's handed to
Yeah.
you.
And there's not just it's not just getting in the ring, there's other things that you can do, like announcing. You could be a referee, you could be a manager, you could be like a talking head like me and Shawn. You can hell, we wanted to be in wrestling, so we just started our own podcast
Right,
to like
guys.
be involved with you guys,
Wanna help
you know,
out.
to rep indie wrestling, you know. So, you know, we love wrestling. This was all about this show is all about the fans, and that's what this experience is. And that's why I said, well, let's watch wrestling with our guests, because, you know, some of the best times in my life are sitting around watching wrestling with people, either at an indie show or at my house, or the kids having a pay-per-view WrestleMania party or something like that. I met Shawn, like, you know, and me and Shawn probably didn't talk to each other for, 5 or 6 years, probably 10 years maybe.
Since the last show and we'd see each other at Walmart or whatever. It was just a, hey, how are you? What's up, brother? Or a Kroger's or somewhere.
Like best of friends now. Like, and we met at KCW years ago. He says 2008. I don't remember dates and stuff like he does. But you know, our love of wrestling has joined us together. And at this point, and when I started this podcast, I was like, always in the back of my mind. And I've been doing this for almost 2 years now. Shawn. When I get a hold of Shawn, he's going to be my co-host. And I finally got a hold of him on Facebook, and now he's sitting right here next to me.
And again, you couldn't pick a better person because he's a wrestling encyclopedia.
He knows everything. And that's what I was thinking back in my head. He knows everything about wrestling. He's got all the belts.
Well,
he's like, you know,
I did know everything about wrestling.
Yeah, he did.
Till Austin Diamond stepped up.
Yeah. Just because he knows something, doesn't because he knows more than you, doesn't mean you don't know what you know.
Here now, brother. Stick around under the learning tree, and one
yes,
day
sir,
you too can be like Austin Diamond.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord. By the time you're 80, dude, you're going to be like a wrestling god.
He's been, again, so fortunate that he paid his dues, you know, and he has sat under the learning tree of, you know, Vic the Bruiser,
Oh, my God.
Rob
Love
Terry,
that man.
Rikishi, rest his soul, God bless him, Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
I mean, you name somebody that's made a name for themselves in this business, and he sat down and shut up, and he learned what he needed to learn, and he's still learning. You know, we all are.
So who trained you to wrestle?
Wow.
Who was your teacher?
I just like to say, because it was so long ago.
Was there many of them?
I think that I have learned. You know, I started really training with a guy back in '87. He was a Olympic wrestler. He was a fill-in, kind of like Ken Patera. He was on the Olympics, and that brought him to wrestling.
Yeah.
I had the love for wrestling, and so when I got out of the Marine Corps, and this gentleman was he was an Olympic wrestler. He offered some things to me that I have a wrestling background. You know, I wrestled in high school. I wrestled in the Marine Corps. And when I had the opportunity to sit down and learn from him, that's what projected me on into the professional wrestling business. I've got 2 older children, and once they came along, I stepped aside for a little bit. You know, as a father, there's some things that you just have to take care of first.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, I'd like to even apologize to Austin right here on air, because a lot of times when he came along, you know, I neglected him because I was out running the roads. I had come back into the business. I felt like, you know, my daughter was kind of, she was getting ready to graduate, so she helped her mother and you know, raise Austin, and so I felt like I could get back onto the road. So I wasn't there for him all the time like I was for the 2 older children. You know, I missed many of his birthdays, Christmases. You know, we always worked on Thanksgiving, so I apologize that I neglected you, son, but I'm really proud that you're now filling those shoes with me.
I'd really like to volley this one back at you. You know what? All those birthdays spent in the back seat for miles on end, all the times I slept in the back of the car, all the times I slept in the hotel, all those times on Thanksgiving when I had cold calzones from a dirty gas station that had more roaches than workers, that, let's be real here, the grease was the most sturdy part of it. You ever been to Jeff, Kentucky? If not, keep it that way. You know, being here right now.
Buckhorn, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Too many bad stories on that one. But you know what? Sitting here right now, looking across from the ugliest guy in the room, you know what? It's an honor, and it makes all those nights worth it. You know what? Countless hours spent on the road, countless miles, you know, countless cops intimidated. If you know how you doing.
Kia says, don't regret raising that boy. I love you, Dad.
I love you, baby.
And you know what?
That's
Full
your
nod to
daughter?
her.
And
That's my daughter. Yeah.
Brandon goes, Scott was trained on Noah's Ark.
I came over with, I was on Noah's Ark, and, in my wrestling, my first year in wrestling, Abe Lincoln was a tag partner of mine.
Oh, yeah?
But
I was on the Mayflower, so.
Yeah, so,
Speaking of Abe Lincoln, did you know he was a wrestler?
Most certainly,
Okay.
That's a little dark. I won't go there. I'm a nice guy today. We can't do that.
Abraham Lincoln was a good old man.
No, we're not doing that.
Is this a PG show?
Yeah. Well,
you
we're
can speak however you want, sir.
It
on
just
this
depends.
show.
Depends on what night we're at. Tomorrow night we're probably going to be on a rated R show. Tomorrow
Did he
night.
just say I was wearing Depends?
Hey, we've got a public image to protect now.
Whatever
Settle
you're
down.
wearing, I mean, if you got to wear that, that's
This is
you
getting
and-
recorded. We got to be careful.
Yeah.
Let's go, 'cause I'm off.
Hey, I might get a sponsorship deal here,
Hey, exactly.
We can't talk about the pinned up poster.
Yeah, right. Right.
All the sponsors help.
Oh my gosh. It's just I couldn't have asked or lived a better dream. For everybody that's watching this, everybody that's listening to this, you guys right here, you're a part of it. Dreams do come true.
Oh yeah.
They do come true. You just got to know where to look. Don't give up. Whatever your dream is, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get discouraged. Hell, you're not even going to succeed right off the bat. Not everybody can be a diamond right off the bat. But no matter if you succeed at first, no matter how many times you get knocked down, it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get up. And if you continue to get up and push forward, you can live your dream.
Exactly. If you're passionate about something, just keep on. Even if you're not the best at it, just keep on doing it, and you're bound to get better. You're not going to be the worst forever, and you might not be the best forever, but you're going to get better at doing it. It's just like we started this podcast, and we just do it. Like we don't have any scripts. We don't have any questions to ask you.
Off the cuff is the best.
Yes,
we
sir.
just come up with
Certainly.
come up with stuff we just come in here and sit down. I learned I didn't know anything about podcasting. I just got this board, and I had it for like 6 months before I even done anything with it, and I just started figuring it out, and a couple friends watching YouTube and this and that. It took me a slow go, but we wanted to do this, and I wanted to do this for me and my sons. And they both are on the show. My little one's he just graduated 5th grade, so he went to Tennessee today with his mom, and so they're having a little fun down there. And my oldest one, he's the one that gave me the idea of watching wrestling and being on a podcast. But he's got 2 little ones now, and he works UPS, so he can't be here at nights. But he's gonna be here Saturday. We're having a pay-per-view.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday.
It's the 29th.
The 29th. We're going to be here on the
Sunday.
29th, and we're going to be doing. We're watching. Double or Nothing.
Speak of the devil. We just spoke him into existence.
Leon
Lexington, the rightful champ, will be returning this Sunday to regain what was rightfully his and bring both of my championships back to the Leon estate. 2 belts for the 2 babies. Sean's Razor, and I'm Sean. Oh, all right, Leon Lexington. I will defend my title on Sunday at the pay-per-view.
So we have another title like
Leon
this one.
is your son?
Leon,
Yeah.
Leon Lexington's my son.
Come see me, Leon. Can't wait to meet you, brother.
Yeah,
I've got an autograph waiting just for you.
exactly. So we have another.
What he didn't say is how much it was going to cost.
I know, right? It's like bring your checkbook.
Look, another funny.
Stealing one from Boogie.
I was going right there. He got that from the Boogie Woogie man, handsome Jimmy Valiant.
Yeah,
The greatest marketing guy. He could sell, fire to the devil, I'm telling you.
yeah.
This guy in Austin is picked up every one of his tricks. Jimmy Valiant, great guy, love him to death. Him and Miss Angel, love out to them. But he could sell anything.
No, to an Eskimo.
I mean, he could sell anything. And he has taught Austin to do the same thing.
Might get you to be our marketing guy around there. We
Heck
need some
yeah,
more
brother.
sponsors.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
He's
Yeah.
the guy to talk to.
This is about our sponsors. We do have a couple sponsors. Royal Lex here in Lexington. Call 859-684-9176 for all your internet gaming needs. Get over there and message those guys on Facebook, and they will sign you up. Tell them that nice guy Andy sent you, and Superfan and Mr. Shawn sent you over there. And for your late night gaming needs, Royal Dark, they open at 10 p.m. at night and stay open till 4 a.m. in the morning. Those guys stay up late for you guys they can't sleep. So go ahead, Shawn.
All right. Our other sponsor is Ding Dancing Details. Speak to Joe at 1300 West Main Street, Lexington, Kentucky, 40508. Tell them Nice Guy Indie Podcast and Sean sent you. They specialize in dent removal, window tinting, auto detailing, ceramic coatings, and PPF. I still don't know what that is.
We'll figure it out at some point.
We'll figure that out. Dings, Dancing Details.
And they're starting to do hydro dipping over there too, guys. And those guys will tint your windows. And this belt that's on our table here was made by Muhammad Jafar. And if you guys want to get on the Facebook and check him out, he's affordable, and he is in Pakistan, and it will take you a few weeks to get your belt, but you will get your belt because we here at Nice Guy Indie Podcast guarantee that, because Muhammad will send you his belt. But and your design, yes, and your design, he'll custom make it for your design, or he has other belts like the NWO belt, the WWE World Championship belt, the AEW belt, anything that you like, that he'll make it for you. So check him out. And guys, KEPW is having a show on.
That would be June 4th. Respect. Go ahead. Take over, brother. You got it. You're doing great.
That's you,
I'm
man.
going to leave him with you, Andy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I need him.
You know, he's too much competition for me.
He's awesome, man. I need him around here to just announce the show.
Well, you know what? We're already here. Ball's in my court. June 4th. Respect. Just like he was talking, respect and tradition, they're something that go hand in hand. And you know what? Looking up here and seeing FTR on the TV, it just really doubles down on it, because those are two guys that are really built on that exactly, tradition and respect, giving back to what was. You know, seeing them come out a little while back with Tessa Blanchard, you know, it's just so nice to see other dudes that are well established putting out their tradition, what we were, what we came from, and what we have to hold true to. And you know what? Much love to FTR and many of the men like him, you know.
And you can tell when these guys, these pros that are on these big shows like AEW and WWE, you can tell when these guys really like what they're doing, because they'll end up, you know, they'll show up at an indie show, and you know they're not getting paid a whole bunch to show up at indie shows and do their thing, but they're out there repping their craft, and they love the business. And you know, when you see a pro, I guess, that's on the big shows show up at an indie show, because there's nothing like the indie shows. You get to meet the wrestlers. Yeah. You know, you get to, like, they'll talk to you, like they'll come up and talk to you. I think that's one thing about the WWE people, some of them that don't like their jobs as much, because you'll hear like WWE guys don't like their jobs as much. I think WWE took them away from the fans, because I've been to WWE things down at Rupp Arena. I've been to big pay-per-views they've had here, and you can't even get that close to, unless you're paying $1,000. You're not going to get right up on the stage, and you know, on the ring, and they take their wrestlers away from the fans, and I think that's what those WWE wrestlers, the pros, that's why they want to go somewhere like AEW, because you know, you can kind of get close to them, you know, and they go to the indie shows, you can kind of get closer to them, and you know, there's nothing like a wrestling fan, like a pure wrestling fan like Johnny over there that just loves it, you know.
And you know what? If I could just steal it from you,
no, you go ahead.
Time, you know, it all circles back to the love of the business, and that's whether you're in there, you know, either side of the barricade, in there, out there, sitting right here where we are right now, you know, or even on Instagram if you got an account killing it over there with coverage. You know what? Shout out real quick to my good friend Botch Blade Job. Much love to you, Gabriel. He's a little historian like yourself on Instagram, and he's been killing it. You know, he's got Dax Harwood viewing his things because he does his homework. You know what? Just the other day, he pulled one on me that I didn't know. He posted up, let's see, what was it? Mad Dog LaShawn and Joe LeDuc. You know what? That was one that caught me off guard even.
Yeah.
Much love to him. Much love to you guys. Much love to the fans in attendance there, because, again, it really just goes back to show the love of the business.
Fans love fans. And like, if you see a wrestling, like, I'll be out anywhere and I see a wrestling shirt and I'll be like, that guy sucks, it's on your shirt, you know, like, you know, and he'll be like, ha ha, buddy, you know, and then like, you know, I do a podcast and this and that, and then we'll sit there and talk for, I've been out
like
to the store and sit there and talk for hours.
We went to the NWA show while we were sitting in the crowd in between matches. We were plugging the podcast.
I went to the bathroom and one of the wrestlers, like his girlfriend, came like running after me. She's like, "You have a podcast? You have a podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "We watch it all the time. We love it."
Big Strong Mims.
Big Strong Mims. His girlfriend knows. Shout out to Big Strong Mims. His girlfriend knew who I was, so I was like, "Oh wow." Yeah. They had already been watching our show.
Evidently, Kia wants you to make a belt for her because she said a belt for the best sister ever.
Well, that'll have to be, on Austin Diamond.
That's on Austin there.
Right. I'll tell you what, I'm feeling generous tonight. If you generously PayPal me the price to cover it, I'll sell it to you cheap.
What are you going to do with that?
I know. Here's only going to mark it up like 100%.
Precisely. You get it. This guy gets
exactly.
it.
That's what we do around here. We make money off of,
Hey, not bad, kid. You're getting there.
He's all about putting asses in the seats and making money.
There's in the little refrigerator in there. There's Mountain Dews and waters. Y'all guys.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Could you give me a water, please?
Hey, this guy knew who that's the guy and he was.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh, we got two new guys.
Really have.
Jeff Cobb, and I don't know.
Who are these guys? Is that?
I don't know the other guy. I know that's Jeff Cobb in the singlet.
I want Toa Leon to show up.
He will eventually.
He's such a nice guy. There's Sprite in there too. There's water, Sprite. I think there's L8 in there.
No, that was for you. He was just letting you know who all was there. If that's, no,
I'm good.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Unless you're doing
Got a
business.
little bit still over here.
See, I wasn't even going to charge you this time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Don't
I'll
forget
get
the first
charged
one's
double
free.
when I come to the show on the 4th, right?
So, is it Jessica? Is it Jessica?
Jessica, yes.
Are you a wrestler? I've seen you in the ring. Well, I didn't see you wrestling,
I've
but
had one match.
you've had.
A handicap match with Scott.
Oh, I
against
remember that
Johnny
match.
Did you see that, Sean?
I was there that night.
I thought he broke my nose that night. I about beat him to death.
What'd you say
it
again?
was crazy.
I did a handicap match with Scott Diamond against Johnny Suede.
Okay.
She actually pinned him.
Yeah.
Heck
You know,
yeah. Heck yeah.
I like to, women are the toughest things on the face of the planet.
Oh, they
Yes,
steal
they
the
are.
show all the time.
You
Like
know,
we always say that during pay-per-views, the women's
Women's
matches
are a lot better
are
than the men's.
awesome. They steal the show all the time. So
Now,
Keep it up.
I do want to put out there that I softened him up. But
Okay,
she
yeah.
did make the pin, but I softened him up.
So how's it? How is it being married to this guy?
Oh, it's crazy. The ones that know it, that's bad. The ones that don't know it, that's even worse.
Yeah.
You're talking about the fans, the diehard fans. That could be even worse than it is good. Some
Yeah.
of them have come out swinging bottles.
Oh, yeah.
And other things.
Okay.
There are people that wait in the parking lots for him. I've had to be escorted off the premises.
Yeah. Because
Police
Separately,
escort.
So that way they didn't know I was with him.
that's crazy.
It's bittersweet.
Somebody said, "Tell them not to touch my vodka. They can have all the Sprite they want, but don't touch the." It's the Nice Guy Indie podcast. I
Who
guess
is it?
that was
Oh, that's
Leon.
that's Leon.
No promises. We'll see what happens.
All I'm saying is it's a good thing it wasn't bourbon. It'd have been gone.
Oh, there's bourbon in there if you'd like some.
Yeah,
Well, Leon,
some-
it's gone.
I got
Save
some
that for
Willards
after
in
the
there if
show.
you want a
Oh,
shot
that's
of
good
Willard.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a couple bottles of that in there.
tell
My
ya.
favorite is 101 Wild Turkey. I'm hoping at some point to get a sponsorship from what's the one down in Frankfurt there?
You're doing
Buffalo
great, bud.
Trace.
There it is.
Buffalo Trace or my favorite's 101 Wild Turkey 101. So
Jack Daniels.
Time.
Just to touch on that a little bit, Scott Diamond being a Marine, been all over the world in some parts of Georgia.
yeah, some parts of Georgia.
I love my Corps, without a doubt.
Yeah,
But some of those times were very tumultuous, and it was just they left demons, if you will.
yeah,
And so I became very well versed in the art of alcohol.
yeah.
And so Austin Diamond actually got his name off of the 101 bottle. If you remember in the old days, I don't know if it's still like this. I don't drink as much anymore.
Yeah.
But on the bottle, it always said Austin Nichols.
Okay.
He was the, I guess, the
brewmaster
the
or
brewmaster
or the
at the time.
yeah. I don't think
And
it's called
so-
brewmaster. Maybe it is brewmaster. I don't know.
In one of those long road trips in the middle of the night at some dive bar, and I'm sitting there by myself and, drinking it's like the old West, literally. Sometimes it costs you quite more. But you could say, hey, buddy, in these little dives, you could say, here's $40, just give me the damn bottle. And, and so one of these nights where I'm over here having these demons that I'm fighting, I just looked up and seen that, and I said, that is one of the coolest names I have ever seen. And it may have been just because I've seen it so often.
Yeah.
I said, if I ever have another son, then I'm going to name him Austin Nichols. Of course, now his mother allowed me to go with the Austin part, but the Nichols didn't get to keep that.
Exactly. Well, that's the way my son Leon Lexington. Lexington is his nickname, but I really wanted to name him. I wanted his middle name to be Lexington, but she would not let me. But I end up naming him that anyway. So.
And they wonder, Andy, why we do things in the middle of the night.
I know, right? Well, my middle name is Leon too, so I took my middle name and then my little one is Leland LaRue, which is Leon and Andrew together. Which my first name's Andrew, and but I call him Noodles because he just loves.
His hair looks like noodles.
His hair does look like noodles, but he just loves Roman noodles. That's all he wants to eat. But
Well,
LL Noodles.
Hopefully he don't, but if he ever goes to jail, he'll be set.
Yeah, I know, right? He was talking about something like that the other day. It was like, you can do this and this and this. And I was like, where did you hear that? Oh, he was watching these guys that were in prison that eat noodles. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What are you watching on YouTube? Stop
You can
watching
make a
YouTube.
So that's what I'm going to say, too. I watched it on television.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You watched everything on television.
Sounds better that way. I agree.
Yeah, it sounds better.
For legal reasons, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
All the bad shit comes from television.
Right, because
And shows like this.
yeah, wrestling it's a puzzle, and that's why things like this are very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a puzzle, there's so many, as we were talking earlier, so many facets to it. And if there's one piece of the puzzle out of place, it's not a complete picture. And so you guys with the podcast, and the things that we're doing right here, you guys are a piece of that puzzle.
Yeah.
And without you,
Thank you, sir.
our picture is not whole. So we thank you guys, for having us and coming out and getting that communication and that one-on-one relationship.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for doing what you guys do. Without you guys, there wouldn't be.
We wouldn't be here.
We'd be talking about I don't know, something.
And without giving your wife your wallet before the show, it keeps you from going to jail and not being able to get out. Because, and again, I've seen this on television, but, if you take your money and they put it in property, you're not allowed to get that out to get yourself out.
Oh, no, yeah.
So
you're
live
not-
and learn.
Yeah, I know that.
Hey, Natural Geographic, I think it was. I don't know.
That sounds about right.
They'll probably sue me now.
Exactly. Oh, wow.
I read it in the newspaper.
Yeah, some of those police escorts were to events. Some of those police escorts were
From events.
from events. There you go. See?
See, we got PR.
Yeah,
It's all about PR, ladies and gentlemen.
So Scott Diamond has caused 5 riots in his time.
Oh, wow, okay.
I'm very
Just 5?
misunderstood.
I don't think I've
Well,
started any
We've had a couple of fights, but it wasn't 400 or 500 people at one time,
That's
except
true.
for these 5 events. Again, as we were talking about earlier, a Harlan gig when, these 9 or 10 big fellows was waiting for me out front. And
Just
so
because of what you've done on the show.
when Scott Diamond's bad, he's very bad.
I feel you. You was a heel that night, I'm sure.
He,
The size look familiar.
yeah. So, we have created these
This is
riots.
metal.
And, thank goodness.
Here, my head.
It's just a part of it, when you do something like that. Of course, we don't want a black eye on wrestling or anything to that nature.
Yeah, no.
But we want the people to be so invested in what we do. And if I'm paid to go out there and be a bad guy, believe you me, I'm a bad guy.
Have you seen that? I kind of feel like that kind of thing was a little bit older. Have you seen that change in any? Because I've been to quite a few wrestling shows lately, and like the whole scene has changed. Seems like that everybody's nicer, everybody's loving each other anymore, and I think I
Know what that is? That's BS.
You think so?
That's BS. That's killing our tradition.
You think
It makes me so mad.
You know what
True
that-
story. I quit. I was a finance officer at a company in Indiana. I don't want to mention no names.
Yeah.
I love both guys. I love the booker. I've known him for years. I love the promoter. We're about the same age. We got to look out for each other. But the thing was, the promoter had, so much faith in his booker, and which you should. he allowed him to run things his way. And again, which you should. When you have a booker, you just got to let him do his job.
Yeah.
But the thing that I didn't like is he was okay with if you and I, Andy, went out there, and maybe of course, probably I was the bad guy.
Yeah.
And you were the good guy.
Nice guy, Andy said.
Nice guy Andy.
Yeah,
there
so
you go.
I gotta
So
be
you
the
know,
good guy. I
you're
gotta be the
Protecting
baby
image.
face.
you're
But
yeah.
I would be a good heel, though. I would be. I think.
It's they were acceptive to the fact that if you and I went out and just had a match and was trying to kill each other, after the match they didn't have a problem with everybody standing around and watching everybody's match and getting on social media and say, hey, I want to thank Andy for the great match. That's BS. And if I didn't have kids on my page, I would go a little bit more in depth on that.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
You don't like them breaking kayfabe. You don't like.
not
them
at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You're paid to do a job. Do that damn job to the best of your ability.
Exactly.
And that means when you show up to the arena, you're that guy.
Yeah.
You're that guy. Until you get in that car and you're driving away, you're that guy.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you for being out here. I think we are in the beginnings of a great relationship. But, brother, if you and I have a match and I beat the hell out of you and you beat the hell out of me,
Yeah.
I am not going to thank you on social media.
Yeah.
I'm not going to meet you down here at Bob's Choke and Puke and have
Yeah.
supper.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If you and
Shout out to Bob Choking Puke.
shout out to Jobs, yeah.
If you know,
As
ladies
Shawn
and
said,
gentlemen. Many a long nights. How you doing?
you got me started, Andy. You got me started.
Oh man, no.
But it
Hey,
pissed me
good.
off.
I got you
know.
started. Let's do this.
Woo!
I remember. I don't know. The last KEPW show I had, there was a little bitty riot towards the end of the show. Had those
Yeah, we wound up
two guys,
it
and it got bad.
It got real bad to the point that I had to forcibly, once I got them into the parking lot, and I don't want to go into details there because
So-
that's
Right.
legalities.
Kind of like as a wrestler, you want to keep kayfabe, but as an owner, do
Yeah.
you want it to be like you feel the same as an owner?
I want to do a couple of things. When you and I come out there, our business is perception
Yeah.
and believability.
Yep.
If you and I are running angle, I'll give you another great example. I was doing a podcast down in the South, down south. At the time, I was being billed as the tallest midget champion ever.
Oh wow, that's funny.
I literally look. They let me keep the belt. I kept the belt.
Oh, nice.
Now,
Next
later
time you're on, bring it with you.
I'll do that, Sean. I'll do
Oh,
that.
I was just kidding.
Because some of the belts that I have won over the years, they let you keep them or you get to buy a duplicate thereof.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they allowed me to have this midget championship thing. But I go to do this podcast with these gentlemen, and so the midget that I'm having this feud with just happened to show up. Now, he's out of the business now, so I can say I love the kid to death. He's like one of my own kids, he's a youngster.
Yeah.
But when he showed up, he seen my car and showed up and just walked into this podcast. I beat the shit out of. Excuse me. I beat the hell out of him.
You're fine.
You can say that.
But he said
I-
he has kids on his page, so he wants to.
I beat the hell out of him.
Nice.
When he stepped in, by the time it was over, these three guys, they were just in awe and freaking out. I mean, literally freaking out because this was not a part of the podcast.
Yeah.
This was not something that we talked about. It was just something, and it would be the same way. If you and I had a
Yeah,
match, Andy,
exactly.
and I seen you, now I'm not going to say Walmart because I don't shop there.
Yeah.
But if I seen you over to my buddy Bob's getting a suit made, look, I'd have to punch you right between the eyes.
Yeah.
No disrespect, but
Gotta
when
keep
I
the
think
act up.
about Ric Flair, David Crockett, Johnny Valentine.
That live video anyway.
To pull one from a good friend, you know who you are. It's not personal.
It's business. That's exactly right. And so you want to make it perception. You want to be business every time somebody outside the wrestling business sees you. You got to protect the kayfabe. You got to protect your image. And so, again, look at the guys like Johnny Valentine. And when they were in the plane wreck in '74, I believe it was,
Yeah.
they all went to different hospitals because some of those were good guys, some of those were bad guys, and they protected our business so well that even though Ric Flair had a broken back and a couple of the guys were really messed up, they went the extra mile, another 10, 20 miles down the road to a different hospital, even in bad shape, not knowing whether they were going to live or die or be crippled the rest of their life. But they still protected our business and went out of their way to go to another hospital.
That reminds me of a story. Speaking of the plane wreck that Ric Flair was on, Mr. Wrestling 1, Tim Woods.
Tim Woods was there too.
He's actually the one that saved wrestling because he went to the hospital, I guess, the guy diagnosed or whatever, and he checked himself out because he went in under his real name, not the Tim Woods name. He said, I was in a car wreck, and he said, I'm going to sign myself out. Thanks, nurses. Thanks, doctor. Whatever. He said, I wasn't there. And, but he signed up and then went and wrestled a match that night.
Yep.
Said, blamed his opponent for the wreck, kept it kayfabe and all that. But if he hadn't have done that, that would have totally, at that time, kayfabe was alive and well.
Yeah.
We still try to keep it going now, and I respect that to no end.
Yeah.
But at that time, you didn't see good guys and bad guys, baby faces or heels.
You didn't
even
see
in the same locker room.
No, you
There
didn't.
was a locker room for baby faces,
And
and
you
the
really
referee
didn't
went back and forth to each
Yep.
one and said, all right, the promoter wants the finish Scott to go over Andy with Austin pulling the leg, and you went in with a roll-up and a handful of trunks.
That's why if you notice, Sean, a lot of guys, even on the independent circuit, the refs will wear an earpiece.
Yeah.
And we've got those ourselves. We use them from time to time in big matches. Excuse me. But not always. When we don't use them, of course, I give everybody what we need to do and things like that.
Yeah.
But in big matches still, you see the earpiece. And that's again, we were talking about the puzzle. That's a very unique piece of the puzzle. The referee is not out there to count 1, 2, 3, just to count 1, 2, 3, I should say. They are a piece of communication.
Yeah.
They are the liaison between the back and the wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah.
So, if again, you see a lot of them wearing earpieces due to that right there, Sean.
Yeah.
And back in the day, you didn't see like heels out signing autographs, right?
No. In the old days, it went like this. There was not a lot of women because a lot of the older gentlemen did not care for women in the sport. Now, we Mae Young, the fabulous Moolah, Alundra Blaze. We had a Betty Grable, or Joyce Grable. Excuse me, I got two people mixed. But Joyce Grable, the wrestler. I mean, we had some really great women wrestlers. But as a whole, the men didn't want them in the business.
They were
think
more
Japan
of
still
an
like
attraction.
I think Japan still like that. And Japan don't have any women on their
No,
wrestling
they do
shows.
have women
They
wrestling.
have some, but it's not as fluent as
Prevalent
it
as
is
it is here.
in Mexico. And I'll tell you, I love American wrestling. I love wrestling, period.
Yeah.
But if you take the people in Mexico, you take the people in Japan and Germany, these women are just as tough as any man.
Oh yeah.
We do have a few here in the States. Mickey Knuckles is one that I'll throw out there. Known her a long time, and let me tell you, if you get in Mickey Knuckles' face, whether you're a man or woman, chances are she's going to punch you right in the mouth.
Yep.
So we do have tough women, but it was hard for us to get those women into the business because a lot of the guys didn't care for that.
Right.
Yeah, like we said, like we'll be watching these shows, these pay-per-views, and the women they'll steal the damn show.
Yeah.
Again, it's a privilege to be in this sport, whether you're a man or woman. It's not a given; it's a privilege. And so when you get a woman that is because a lot of them, not all of them, are not the same size as the men, and so forth and so on. Sometimes these women, because of a lot of the men in the business, don't really care for the women in the ring, and also a lot of them. Nowadays you see a lot of mixed matches, which I never was a big fan of.
Yeah.
But these women are coming into their own today. They really are.
I'm looking to
Kia
think.
Marie just spoke up. Wrestling, as you were speaking about the women wrestlers, the traditions they put in. She also mentioned rest in peace, Joni Laura China.
Yes, man, China, and man, here's a woman who, again, she's exception to the rule. We spoke of exceptions to the rules earlier. Here's a woman that was an exception to the rule. She came in. She was just as big as any other guy.
Yes.
She
Not bigger
sweat.
than most of them.
She bled. She
Yep.
trained.
Oh yeah.
She, whatever she had to do, she fought to make a name for herself into this business, and she did exactly that. And I hope at some point that the powers that be will put her into the Hall of Fame where she belongs.
It's a tragedy what happened to her. Tragedy.
Politics.
Politics.
Politics killed
Politics. Yeah.
And
then plus she didn't get enough of the mental health help that she really desperately needed. She
did. Joni was a great person.
We're big about mental health around here.
Yeah.
Certainly. And, I spoke earlier on that. I myself have dealt with that in the past. It took me 10 years after I got out of the service to be able to control and get out of the bottle.
Yeah.
But, you don't have to be in the military. I mean, you can run into things in everyday life that just, sometimes these barriers that put her in front of us, it just becomes overwhelming. And, that's really kind of what happened to China there.
Yeah. She was just about people. She was management and everything else from what I've read and saw online. Yeah, I've always been a fan of China, but she was just around people that just wanted money and they didn't care about her personal well-being. They just cared
until they dumped on her.
Yeah,
she was. I don't really want to use the word gullible, but she was trusting. She was trusting. Joni was trusting, and she trusted the people around her. And every one of those people around her did nothing but crap all over her.
Yeah, that's
they used her
Yeah.
as a stepping stone because she was different. And different is good, be it wrestling, podcast, whatever. Elvis was different, and they made him a king.
Yeah.
In China, her character was definitely different, and she needs to be recognized because, again, the great Sherry Martel, rest her soul, She broke down a lot of walls.
Yes, she did.
Moolah broke down a lot of walls. But a woman like China took those walls that they broke down and took it to the next level. They were giving women's titles, women's championships, if you will.
Yeah.
But they were not giving women men's championship titles until Joni brought China into the intercontinental scene.
Oh, yeah. And by the way,
talk that she was supposed to be in line to win the world title, but again, politics.
Talking
stuffed
about
that down.
Talking about women wrestlers, and right now, Thunder Rosa is on the AEW Women's Champion is on the TV up here.
It's like we timed that perfectly.
We timed it perfect, didn't we? And we're talking about women, beautiful women.
Do you see the power of Scott Diamond when he's got a telephone?
Oh,
exactly.
Hey, we're talking about women.
Demand.
Go ahead and put Thunder out there right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, this woman right here, people better take a look at her because she
great.
is on fire.
She's a star.
Her, Tessa Blanchard. I mean, there's a few young women right now.
I wish she would straighten her shit out because she is closest to China that we've had in a long time. Tessa Blanchard.
Her ability is above and beyond.
Yeah, she keeps
the mindset.
Ego. Yeah.
Yeah, she keeps.
That's
something's
that's
wrong
what
with her.
she
I don't
needs.
The
It
mindset's
leaves a little to be desired.
And
Well,
talking
a lot
about
to be desired.
talking about women with talent. Look over here, guys, on the wall here. This nice guy. This is my Bitmoji. This is not a print. This is a painting, an original painting from my friend Harmony Oaks that's in Lexington, Kentucky right now. If you guys want an original painting made, get a hold of us over here in Nice Guy Andy Podcast or Harmony Oaks on Facebook, and she can you can commission something like that for her. I asked her. She did this too, and I got a couple other things that
groovy.
I'm into art. That's not me. That's Sam Tripoli, but everybody thinks it's me. But and I was like, I need something for that wall over there, and I'm having another belt. That's my little logo right there. So she did that for me. Shout out to Harmony Oaks, guys. If you guys want anything like I didn't want just a print. I could have went to
or one other.
Place.
Leon.
My son Leon Lexington's coming. Let's see what Leon wants.
All right. He wants to chat with Austin Diamond.
Who does that? How you doing?
Leon Lexington, you're online. We got guest Austin Diamond and his father Scott Diamond here with us.
How's it going, Leon?
Where's that Super Lee at?
What's that?
Where is my Super Council Johnny Lee at?
He's here, brother.
Johnny
He's
Lee's
just off
here.
to the side.
I need my Super Council.
He's here, brother.
He's the Bush to my to my Dick Cheney, and I need him
Wow.
to tell Shawn what's going to happen
I'm here.
Sunday.
You can tell me yourself.
I
Just
want,
met
I
him
want
and I like him.
look, not the late great, but the great super fan, Johnny Lee to tell what's going to happen Sunday when I come take my rightful belt away from you.
So we have we have a little contest we do at pay-per-views. We have a green belt, which Shawn has. That's the first Nice Guy Andy podcast media belt, and we do like a trivia kind of thing. And see, we rack up points, see who wins at the pay-per-views. Like we call the matches, and you get a point if you win. So Leon held the belt for almost
2 years.
He's
is
a
about-
three-time champion,
I've had a
right?
couple losses here and there, but interim champ Shawn is not going to
Interim
hold
champ.
that.
Interim champ.
think
All
he's-
right, brother.
Oh man,
I
shots
got you.
fired!
My
Shots
shots are
fired!
Fired.
My entertainment whole like the feng shui in my house is all messed up because he has my belt. The feng
messing
shui
with
is
his
messed
mojo,
up. You don't
Sean.
mess with a man's feng shui.
First off, Leon,
Do you have
the,
hold on a second? Are you on speakerphone or what?
Yeah, I'm on speaker. I'm
Try
in
to
my car.
Put it up to your ear if you can because you're breaking up on speaker.
No, keep it on speaker. I like it when you break it.
That's funny.
I love you,
said less
Shawn, but
competition.
We can hear you a
it's
little bit
just
better
it's
now.
a little friendly.
Oh,
It's just a little friendly
It's all-
Don't break
competition.
kayfabe. Sean's
Oh,
Scott
I
will get
hate
mad.
your guts. That
Oh, we're
belt's
breaking-
mine, and you'll never get
There
it
is
back.
no kayfabe to be broke.
You better start going ahead.
Man, between Leon and myself, you better keep your head down, man. Everybody's coming after you.
Right.
I am a fighting champion. I defend against anybody, anywhere, anytime.
I hate to be that guy, but
Well,
you were
you
quite
better
literally in
you
a
better
corner.
you better hold
I
those
am in
words
the
up
corner,
tight, my
yes.
guy, because I'm coming
But
Sunday.
you know what
I'm gonna
happens
be
when
there
you
the
put
whole
an
time.
animal
No
in the
baby,
corner?
no wife. I'm gonna be there, and I'm taking back what is rightfully mine, Shawn.
Bring it on, brother.
I'm bringing it.
Say it
I'm gonna
again,
bring
'cause
it like The Rock.
Say it again. Somebody was talking. We were talking. Say it again.
Rightfully, I'm going to come through, take my champion. It doesn't. It could be a pinfall, it could be a submission, but we could even do a screw job. I'm coming through and I'm taking my belt. What's rightfully mine, I'm putting it back in my entertainment system so the feng shui isn't fucked up in my house. And I'm going to walk out of the Nice Guy Nation studio. Me and my special counsel, Johnny Lee, are going to walk out of the Nice Guy studio with belts in hand.
You know, Leon's going into this not only with Johnny Lee, but with Austin Diamond on his side. And you know
Oh.
what? The last name Diamond
Traitor.
goes hand in hand with being a manager of champions. So again, I'll say, keep your head down.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Is Austin coming to? You're going to show up at the next pay-per-view?
Never know what could happen.
Oh wow.
You never know.
Sounds
Never
like
know.
Leon and Austin's tagging up against you there,
I
Shawn.
know.
You're going to be in a fight for your
You
life.
know,
We
it's
got
not the first
we got
time
two
I've
belts.
been 2-on-1, 3-on-1. Excuse me, I forgot about Austin Diamond.
Your wife doesn't want to hear about that.
Oh, that's not.
That was another time. We're going to skip the Tijuana show right now. I mean, I'll tell you
That sounds
that.
kind of sexy, Shawn.
Yeah.
Hey, besides,
That sounds kind of sexy, Shawn.
Statute of
is it-
limitations.
He
on
said
that.
sexy
Yes.
talk ain't going to get you out of this, Sean.
Hey, man,
Sexy
how he
talk
pays
ain't gonna
his
get
bills
you
is none of our
nowhere.
business.
You can pull up with 3-4 females, and I'll still come out Nice Guy Nation champion.
All right,
I'm
brother.
that.
Look, Ruby Soho looks like
You
a
remember
really.
the first time I was
really
on the show,
golf
man?
librarian.
I made you and Dak cry with all my knowledge.
This is the young lady, again, very deserving.
Holy-
I've worked many shows with her.
Oh,
Heidi
really?
Loveless.
Okay.
Yes.
But
I
I
remember
just
her.
wanted to call in. Love the show. Been listening to it the whole time I was at work. Y'all have a great rest of the podcast. I will be there on Sunday.
I'll be
No
here
kids,
too.
no wife, nothing to do but to come for my championship belt. I haven't even watched AEW in weeks, but I know how. I'm in deep with this. I've been wanting my belt back. I'm coming for it, Shawn. I'm coming for you.
Does your wife
After
have
we
your
come for
teddy
the-
bear when you go home crying?
Yeah,
Shots fired.
You'll-
again.
Oh wow.
you'll be the
This
you'll
is gonna
be the
a
one
great
crying.
show.
That's your teddy bear.
You're gonna go to your NWA belt and you're gonna cry to it. You're gonna be like, "This isn't the Nice Guy Nation belt. I underestimated myself. Leon took it."
All right, man.
But
I love this kid.
I love
you did a
y'all.
great job with
Be
this.
safe.
Yes,
He's been a wrestling fan since he was like
walk. He's
Yeah.
like Austin.
Since he could turn on the TV by himself, I guess.
But
Yeah.
I love y'all. Thanks for the
Love
content.
you too, brother.
Scott
Hey,
Diamond,
shout out.
Austin Diamond, y'all are amazing. Be safe.
Thank you,
gang,
Leon.
gang. Leo Lexington out, and I'm
Much
coming for the
love.
belt.
Awesome.
Bye. Peace.
All right. Much love.
love.
you.
I love this cat, man. You
Yeah.
did a hell of a job with this kid.
Thank you.
I really like this
He's
kid.
good with the chops.
He's good. You know what?
He's been dying to do this kind of stuff since he was little. He's been wanting to, get
He's
involved.
wanted me. Him and Leon have wanted me on here for a while. He's tried. Andy's tried to talk to me for a year to get on. When I finally decided to come on, I don't know. I didn't feel right doing it. So he.
Perfect for this.
I know that now,
Yeah.
but at the time I didn't have like what you were talking about. Like how you were talking about people would complain that they didn't have the body or whatever. I was feeling that way. I didn't have the confidence. And I just said, you know what? I'll come in and do one show. We did the last AEW pay-per-view back in February. And he's like, had me in and said, man, we just going to talk. We're basically shoot the breeze, what we do here.
That's all we do.
And we got on here, his son, Leon Lexington, his friend Dak, had another one of your friends here, and we were just shooting breeze. They were asking me random wrestling trivia questions, and I was making them cry because I was like, I'd get them. They're like, he knows it. He's the GOAT.
It's a perfect fit. You didn't know, like, your whole life that you being a fan, you was making your way to this show. That's what you've been training
that was
for
it.
your whole life. It was a secret. I knew what was going on. I've been eyeballing you for years because I knew this was going to happen. So, I kind of made this happen.
Because like I said, I'd see y'all around at like Kroger's or Walmart or Target somewhere, and it'd basically be a, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
And we'd go our separate ways.
Well, we'd talk about wrestling. Every time we seen each other, we would
it
talk
didn't
about
matter
we've been
where it
watching the
was.
wrestling. And we sit there and talk for about an hour. I seen you at Walmart one time, and we just sit there and talked for an
And
hour.
we were at the self-checkout there, and other people were waiting. We were just sitting there talking about wrestling. I was on one of my breaks. I was working there that day, and I let you use my discount card.
He did, yeah. He gave me,
You were
was
like, what are
awesome.
you doing? I said, my discount.
yeah, that was awesome.
It's not uncommon, really. You may have went through that yourself, Andy, before you started. But Shawn, myself included, I'm not immune to this either. Ric Flair even in around
Yeah. He's notorious.
2000, somewhere thereabouts. When Reed had the tournament in Florida, and Rick said, "To hell with the pay-per-view. I'm going with my son to Florida."
It wasn't pay-per-view. It was an episode of Thunder, and that was in 1998.
98. So yeah, and I mean, we do at times if we reach a certain level, and thankfully I've been able to go to the pinnacle of what we do. But for the state of Kentucky, because I had some issues, I went after a pedophile in the audience. That to me is nowhere. People like that should be nowhere around our business.
No,
I don't
not
care
at all.
if they like wrestling, then let them sit at home, because our business is based upon the children.
Yeah.
The children bring the adults. It's not the other way around.
Right.
The adults drive them there, but the children bring them to us.
Yeah.
And so, this guy was in the audience, and quite honestly, Scott Diamond became a father instead of a wrestling personality.
Right.
And, if I could have got to him, I'd have ripped his head off and crapped down his neck. But that cost me a 19-month suspension in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
And so, just like Rick did, if you read his book, To Be the Man, he says in there at that time, he was 2 years out of the business, not just out of WCW where Eric Bischoff had fired him and sued him, but he was literally out of the sport of professional wrestling altogether. Because of the legalities of the contract, he couldn't go and work and make a living nowhere else until he took care of the red tape there. And so after my 19 months out, I felt the same way. And maybe, Shawn, there's where the connection is. In our professional careers at times, we come across things and we start maybe second guessing ourselves. But thankfully to Austin Diamond, because when he came to me and he said, "Hey, Pop, brother, we're all over the country, but I missed the kids that I was growing up with in the state of Kentucky." And at that point, I decided it was up to me to go and cast out those doubts I had on myself. I had another fire that had been put underneath of me because of him. And hell or high water, I was getting back in the state of Kentucky. And so I went before the board for about 6 or 7 months. And don't you know, at the end of all the legalities and all the committee meetings and things of this nature, I came out on top. You know, and a couple of people on the board at the time told me I would probably never wrestle in the state of Kentucky again. And, well, here I am. Not only am I wrestling in the state of Kentucky, you know, I'm partners with a guy owning a company. And my son and some other people are learning under the tree of Scott Diamond. And it's because those people weren't able to put me out. It was because when I had that fire, you know, put back under my ass, you know, I fought for what I had always fought for, and that was to be a part of professional wrestling. And thankfully, I come out. I won the case. I wasn't no fine levied against me or anything. I just lost 19 months. And again, you know, Shawn, the same thing with you. You know, you doubted yourself a little bit, just like Rick and myself. But, brother, as soon as you got behind the mic, look at you today.
Yes, sir.
You know, as Bruce used to say, you're flowing like water, man. And I mean that as a compliment.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
exactly. Speaking of Ric Flair, he's supposed to be making a comeback here soon,
Yeah,
right?
his last match, July 31st, the day after SummerSlam in Nashville. The final Jim Crockett promotion show. They've been heavily hyping that on Ric Flair's own podcast. He's got his own podcast now called To Be the Man.
Was unaware you got that one on me, Shawn.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I should know that because he was very instrumental in my career.
Yeah.
Oh, I consider him one of the greatest of all time. Like,
Yep.
to me, he's probably one of my favorite wrestler of all time. For me, Ric Flair, like seeing, I got introduced to wrestling at my grandpa's house. Like when I was younger, we just running around playing, and my grandpa and my great grandpa were sitting around watching. I guess it was I don't know what would be back then.
Back in the day, you had AWA,
AWA come on Saturday mornings.
AWA, NWA, and WWWF was your three big main.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on Saturday morning, like I guess AWA with the Four Horsemen was on. They were fighting Tequila Koloff and
NWA
Yeah.
with the Horsemen.
Yeah.
But now, you know, you're dancing on a fine line there, Andy, because you know Ric Flair started in the AWA.
yeah.
He, too, again, we were talking about second-guessing yourself. I love Rick to death. I've sat down with him on 5 different occasions. I'm honored to do so. But here's a guy that knew he had the horse by the tail, you know, the tiger by the tail. Here's a guy who was adopted. I don't know if all of you guys know that, but Ric Flair was adopted. You know, his adopted mother was a teacher and his father was a dentist. And so he had that silver spoon. They didn't want for nothing, and they lived in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He started college because that's what rich kids do. You know, they go to college and they learn and they make even more money, get even richer.
Yep.
Ric Flair liked partying more than he did college.
Yeah.
And so he dropped out of college, of course, to the dismay of his mother and father because they were professional people. But again, it didn't hit him yet. So then he wanted to be a football player, and he was very good at it. Ric Flair was about 350 pounds when he first came into wrestling. He lost over 100 pounds for his wrestling weight when he really got going. But here again, he was good at it. When it comes to sports, Ric Flair is phenomenally good. I mean, he always has been.
Yeah, he's an
But
athlete.
he didn't take it serious because he was so good. So he quit football as well. When he ran into Ken Patera, he and Ken Patera, the strongest man in the world.
And Vern Gagne.
Well, Rick was
I've heard
brought
this story.
to Vern via Ken Patera.
That's right.
And here's the part that changed Ric Flair's life and a lot of ours too, because he was so instrumental in our careers. Ric Flair quit everything because he's 73 years old, and to this day, he still lives that same life. That's why it was so easy for him to
That's
be
why
that.
I hear, yeah.
And so the deal was he quit on college, you know, he quit on football. He quit.
Be this coming Friday.
Did Jamie Hayter, does she's?
Yeah, Jamie
Yeah,
Hayter.
Jamie Hayter.
We will be. There is a show this coming Friday, Ohio Valley Wrestling in Georgetown, Kentucky, at Country Boy Brewing, 7 o'clock.
The Nice Guy 80 podcast will be there, represented by at least one of us, if not all three of us,
All
or
three
four
of
of
us.
us. I'm trying to get Leon Lexington to go with us. I'm trying to get him to.
But if he has to work, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
he has to
wanna
work.
know.
I'm trying to get him to take off. But
My
yeah,
wife, Crystal, will be there with us.
Yeah. And we have a show tomorrow night, too, guys. We have a special show, not about wrestling. I have my friend T.A., comedian T.A. is coming in. His cousin J Rags, which are Lexington hip-hop group, Slap Mob. They're coming in to drop his EP tomorrow. So we're going to be here probably at 9. It'll probably be an hour and a half show or so, but we're going to be with those guys. And next week we're having... on Wednesday, we're having another special guest in Kentucky Wrestling manager Lemon Juice McGee is going to be in studio with us.
Everybody has a comment about Lemon Juice McGee.
I think Lemon
His
Juice is
attire.
so funny.
Been around
Out
since
there.
the first day that he stepped in. Well, that's not saying much. I'm around for the first day of most guys' career.
Yeah.
Here's a guy. You know, actually, I told you the little story earlier. He, too, started out as a podcaster.
Yeah.
Him and Matt and, gosh, there was another one, Maniac Matt Pierce, and there was another one. I'm sorry that I'm missing. Because he was actually the other guy. I should know him because he's the one I always would run. I'd say, I don't even know why you're talking. Do not talk to me. You just keep my Manhattans flowing. That's all you do. Just sit there and keep them flowing. But Lemon Juice McGee and these two gentlemen, you know, they were the ones actually that was the podcast that I was at when the midget showed up today, and I wound up having to pile drive him on the concrete.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Hey,
Can we even say midget anymore? I don't know.
He just did.
Yeah.
I just did. You know, Scott Diamond is not politically correct. You know, I came up in the '60s and the '70s. So I'm not politically.
I think you got to
correct.
pass for that.
Not to be that guy, but just to be that guy. What are they going to do about it? Flock together? Come on now.
Nah, we got this is an independent show anyway. So
Leave it to Austin Diamond. He's got he's got it.
He's
Coming
good
from
lord.
the guy that took one for show and tell.
That was a one-time deal.
True story. Yeah. So I was telling you about Kid Mac. While we were doing this volley, we had this angle running with this title, and he lives a couple of states away, and so of course I took him under and helped train him and stuff like that, and so he stayed a lot of time at our house.
yeah,
And of
this
course,
is the midget wrestler.
yes,
Okay.
and so Austin was in grade school at the time. This has been several years back. Excuse me. And so, I'm generally gone before he even leaves. So when I came in, I get the story of how Austin Diamond took Kid Mac to grade school for show and tell.
Oh my God, that's funny.
How the hell do you do that?
He booked his own
He's the
show.
goat.
Exactly. This guy gets it. You know what? I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
The
I love
teacher
it.
didn't. I don't understand. You know what? I'm not a
Teachers
fan of
have
hers
no
anyway.
sense of humor.
Yeah.
They just don't
Precisely.
get it.
Booked his own show. Are you? I guess you're in high school, right?
Yep.
Okay, where you go to Frankfurt High?
Franklin County. Yep.
Okay, what grade are you in now?
I'm a junior. Well, I will be in August.
Nice.
Today was actually our last day, so I went in, shook a few hands, said hi to a handful of people, and I got out of there as fast as I could. They
Exactly.
don't pay me enough to be there. I went there for legal obligations. Let's be real.
Only there for legal obligation. Look, he learned well over the years.
Yes, he has.
It just
You're a
just
star,
worry about
Austin.
the legalities. The rest of it's out the window.
Oh, thinking about stars, guys. We are on Facebook now. We can accept stars, so you can tip us, guys, for on the star thing. Hopefully, we can make a little money from that. But
Kia, she does make the Diamond Cartel T-shirts.
She
wow.
does. Yeah.
She does a great job. I've
It's
seen.
it's
we need some nice guy Andy podcast shirts soon.
we were
Yes,
talking
sir.
earlier about it being a family business. Wrestling really turns in
It
not
really
only
does.
the blood family, but again the people that you watch grow up. It is really family orientated.
Yeah.
And let me plug again Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. I love it to death. It's my passion these days. We were voted best family entertainment in Frankfurt.
Heck yeah.
And so with that, we were talking about Lemon Juice McGee earlier.
And they have that clown show downtown there. So
Yeah, and we beat them out.
the,
And
the,
so,
the Frankfurt clown show, the governor and all those clowns there.
yeah, right there at the Capitol. That's what brought
That
axe
goes
throwing
without
and stuff
saying.
in. And what's the other one? The escape rooms. If you live in
Jungling.
a Capitol, I don't care what state it is, you need an escape room because that's
Yeah.
where we put all these representatives and senators, into the escape
Yeah.
room.
Samoa Joe's coming out.
Samoa Joe, facing Kyle O'Reilly.
I heard today that they're going to be like maybe have the Ring of Honor on True TV now. They got some of the guys from Impact.
I believe so.
Impractical Jokers are going to show up at the
Yeah.
next pay-per-view, so they're thinking that they're going to
So
have.
they're probably announce it this coming Sunday.
Yeah, so.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, I think that the Turner, everybody was worried about Warner Brothers canceling AEW on Warner.
I don't think so.
But I heard today that that Warner and all of them are really behind AEW's the product, so they're
They put out a good product.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
so
I think
don't
they
have to
just
worry
may
about
have
AEW
them
going anywhere.
ease up on the blood. That could be
Yeah,
if they have any you do what you do, but we have some concerns maybe.
we picked. I picked this show to watch on Wednesdays because it's a 2-hour show and then we can get out of here. About we're here at 8 and we get out here about 10. So that's why I picked this show. But I'm a big fan of AEW ever since it started. I like WWE. We watched a little Impact. We've watched some Impact pay-per-views. We watched the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view. We watched Impact pay-per-views. We probably will watch that Ric Flair, whoever he's going to final match. We'll probably watch it here in studio too. Somebody said that they were probably going to he was probably going to face Hulk Hogan coming out of.
That's been the rumor. We don't know yet.
It was
Supposed to be Steamboat, but
Steamboat.
publicly said not I.
Yeah. So
You'll never find two guys with more chemistry than Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair.
Exactly.
yeah,
And
maybe
you know-
Scott Diamond can take on Ric Flair the last match.
Hey,
That'd be great.
I have learned so much from Rick. It would be a hell of a show. It certainly
Yes, it would.
It'd be awesome.
Somebody said
Unfortunately,
it I've never had the opportunity to wrestle him. I've
wow.
wrestled a lot of greats, but I've never had the opportunity to wrestle with Rick.
Who have you wrestled?
I have been in the ring with Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I have
Okay.
been in the ring with Rikishi. I've been in the ring with Rob Terry. I've been in the ring with Tracy Smothers. I've been in the ring with Tommy Rich, although we don't get along anymore.
Somebody say something about lasagna.
There's a story there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
We have to have a
Legal
special.
reasons there
Do we
is
have to have a
not.
special podcast for that story?
It would take, and he'd probably sue us afterwards.
Oh
So-
well, we don't have anything. We don't have anything anyway. This
Someone say something
this
about
podcast is
lasagna.
registered in my dog's name, so
I've heard
like the
that
dog
story
owns
about him.
the dog owns the
Well,
podcast. So
We,
sue
we
the
were gonna
dog.
we were gonna do this gig up in Ohio. So I don't know what you guys remember him as, Percy Pringle or the Undertaker's manager, Paul Bearer. Rest his soul, the great Bill Moody.
Yes, sir.
So Bill had a new tag team that he was giving a push to, if you will. And so Tommy Rich, Bill Rich, and of course the manager of champions, Scott Diamond, was going to go up and face Bill Moody and his new tag team this particular evening. And unfortunately, Bill passed away about a week before the show. And so at that point, back in those days, I was doing 5 or 6 shows a week. So, it was really tough. And so I decided, since Bill wasn't going to be there, you had 2 on each side. So there was really, I didn't feel like there was a need for me to be there.
Right.
And so, of course, I had a replica title of Rick's NWA title. And with Tommy being the youngest NWA champion of all time, and at 18 years old. Now, he only held it for about 4 days, but nevertheless, he will always be the youngest NWA champion of all time. That's something that will never be beaten, I don't think.
Even had Harley Race, who's still up until he died. He said, yeah, Tommy Rich beat me that night. He was the better man that night. So he is an NWA champion.
And that's what a lot of the old guys say. Anybody can be beaten on any given night.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes things, if the stars are not all aligned, it just don't happen. And so, of course, we were going to take my NWA title to Ohio and use it inside of this match. And since I wasn't going, I went ahead and let them use that title, but the title never came back to me. So that's the nicest way as I can put it. And then he and I had an ordeal. I picked him up at the airport one time, and he was just he really wasn't in a good way. I don't want to say anything here because, again, legalities. But he was 2 sheets into the wind, And so we had an issue on the way to Harlan. You know, he disrespected me and my family, which led into him and I having some very coarse words. And before the night was over, let me tell you, they took him out of the building because Scott Diamond was heated. And you don't want to see a heated Marine, especially when he's got more firepower than you do.
Yes, sir.
Without mentioning any parking lot-based antics that he and I were involved in that night.
Yes,
I will go ahead and give him props on one thing. Good on Tommy Rich. You know what? We went to the gas station. That guy brought me Pringles. Nothing but good things to say about him, as long as we were in a gas station.
Yeah, he really, Austin, he said, reminded him of his grandson. So he took a shine into Austin. And, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Tommy and what he's done in the ring. I respect, you know, him and Buzz Sawyer, some of the best matches ever.
Right.
Tommy Rich's promos, again, some of the best promos ever. We just had a personal hiccup, if you will. But, again, I don't want to take away from anything that he's done in the ring. Or the way that he treated Austin. Again, he treated Austin very well. Very well.
Nice.
He's actually back out touring now.
That's what I've heard.
He lives in Georgia, and he's out doing his thing. And you know, I'm glad to see him because, you know, he was fighting some demons there for a while as well. And, you know, that's probably what caused the hiccup in our relationship.
Shout out to Tommy Rich. Hope you still fighting your demons, brother. It is a challenge every day. I'm going close to 7 years sober from my alcohol. I never did any other drugs. I've tried them. They just weren't my cup of tea, but
congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I am
liquor was my drug of choice. I kicked that September 1st will be 7 years. So even my good days are a challenge, not to
certainly.
And you know, because the thing is though, with a lot of people say alcohol is not an addiction. You can be addicted to anything.
Alcohol is definitely addiction.
Wrestling, hell, wrestling. Put it out there. Wrestling is an addiction.
Yeah,
Yes,
alcohol is
it's an
definitely.
Undeniably.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm 2 years off strippers, so I understand what you're going through.
I know.
I just have to say we cannot bring strippers and Scott Diamond up in the same.
Okay.
But unless you want to take me home.
Yeah, so.
Gentlemen, will you look
Well, I'm
We were
sorry, I
talking
had
about
a.
floor strippers.
Yeah,
Always the buffer. You know, we were talking about a buffer.
Yeah, we were
buffers.
paint strip.
But I'll just go on record as saying I made more money in the strip club than any guy ever did.
Nice.
Because they gave their money back to him.
But still, he still made the money.
It's nothing like looking at some broad up there, you know, doing her thing or whatever, and thinking that you just gave her $90, and then she gets backstage and finds out you gave her the same $10 9 times.
Guys, we can make this kid friendly again. Recycle, reduce, reuse. Children, how you doing?
Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's right.
Wow.
There we go.
Yeah,
Leave it up to Austin Diamond to pull us back in, you know.
Thank you.
exactly. He's
But I will
our
get to
anchor.
I will get to that Tijuana show here soon, though.
Oh, well, we're gonna have to have you back on for
You
a
have to go
special
to the
guest for
bathroom.
that.
I think we got to run. Yeah.
How long have we been on?
The truth is stranger than fiction. That's all I'm
That's
going to
right.
say.
Oh.
Oh, that's hard to believe with the diamonds in the house, you know.
Right.
You know, if you guys don't mind, I'm again, this is a very proud moment for me. I appreciate you guys having us on.
Oh, we
And-
appreciate you coming
and
on.
it means
It's
a
a proud
lot.
moment for us to have you here.
I'm sure you're a
This-
busy
as
guy.
well as you, of course.
Exactly.
And of
I
course.
probably
Not much
get
goes
anywhere
without saying. How you doing?
between 35 to 75 messages and calls a day for people looking, and this is just wrestling
Wow.
related, not.
Wow.
You know, I do some construction also, but wrestling related. Generally between 35 and 75 texts, calls a day, people looking for work and so forth and so on. And so, you know, I could definitely sit here and talk all night about myself, but I want to thank you guys. This means so much to me because this is a very unique moment. And as Tully said when he and Arn went out for the last time in NWA, you know, he said this is an end of an era. But for us, this is the beginning of an era because this is the first podcast that Austin and I have been on together.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very
We're
special
proud
to me.
to
When
be
I when I
part of
met
it.
Austin, I hadn't met you yet. I met him first, and I was like, this kid is. If I can't get Scott on, I'm definitely having Austin on. I think I asked Austin first,
Can
and
I
then
pause you real quick, just so we're on the same page? I booked this one, brother.
yeah,
He did. I'm not taking him away. You know,
Yeah.
I am the B side to his A side tonight
Yeah.
because this was all him.
like I was so impressed with his announcing and stuff, and I was like, hey, this kid,
I
if
had no idea.
if
Like,
Scott's
I would
not
go
coming
to the
on, I'm
shows
getting
at the
Austin
old
on.
building, and I
You'll
would
probably
see
draw
you-
better with him than you will me.
You would sit there, be selling the KPW shirts and all this other stuff, and you were talking everybody into it. As it went in, you were trying to like buy this, buy this, buy this. Like they had you run concession stand one night. They didn't have you at the one cooking the grill, but you were at the one
Yup.
down there, down the stairs where we were selling the
I
sodas.
see
the
like
adult beverages.
like
You
you
could
becoming the
sell
new
adult
Bruce
beverages
Buffer at
legally,
some
but when
point.
somebody
Yeah.
was looking,
Like,
you'd hand
you know,
somebody the beer, you know.
His
For
mic
the most
skills
part,
are
you sold the
incredible.
sodas and stuff like that.
It's just unbelievable. And again,
Well,
it's
they're
you know, whether it's my child or not, it's a testament to paying your dues again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, when you sell popcorn, you have a newfound respect for that person that has to sell that popcorn. When you have to stand at the ticket booth and you have to deal with all the people trying to come in, and you know that's overwhelming at times because everybody's trying to get in and get that front row seat and everything. And he's not done it all yet, but before it's all said and done, he's definitely going to do it all.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to what made him as good as he is today is that he paid the dues.
Yeah.
You know, he respects the office that he holds now as the voice of KEPW. And if you guys could just see the work that he does behind the scenes, making sure that he has every match just the way it needs to be, make sure that
Yes.
he knows where these people are from, make sure that he knows their weight, make sure that, you know, not only what they're doing here, you know, booking and writing and announcing and things is very, very hard because I have to know, or you have to know, and he does, the history behind everybody that is on that card. If Shawn and Andy are on that card, he's got to know, is Shawn holding a championship belt somewhere? Is Andy a good guy or a bad guy 10 miles down the road?
Yeah.
There is a lot of homework that goes into putting on these programs. And there's just as much homework doing a good job as announcing, and he does a great job
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
And I just wish you guys could see.
When I met him, he was announcing, but I was like, when he first talked to me, I was like, this kid is doing way more around here than he's announcing. I was like, he's doing a bunch of stuff in the back too. I could just tell the way he carried himself, the way his head's up in the air, and the way he grabs that mic, and he's so confident. I don't even think he made a mistake all night with the mic. I was just so.
And if he does, you'll never know it.
I was impressed, dude. I was really impressed.
I appreciate that.
And if you ever make a mistake, we'll never know it because you cover yourself.
We make
Like,
mistakes.
I've never
right?
seen you make a mistake when you've done the.
This
Well,
show
you
is a
never will.
mistake.
That's not what I do. Come on now.
Oh my god!
You know, Shawn,
Is that
you got
they make hats? Is that a custom hat? Because it's got to fit that ego.
I gotta say, brother, you wish
Is that a custom
you
hat?
had a hat like Austin Diamonds.
Is that a custom? Is that
It is a
your,
custom hat.
That's
for
awesome,
the
dude.
small price of I don't know how much you got in your wallet times two.
See, he'll sell anything. I'm telling you, he'll sell you the shoes right off his feet.
That's a
Jesus,
true
you-
story.
That's a
He'll
true
sell
story.
the
That's a true story.
He certainly did.
Samoa Joe's going into the Owen Hart tournament.
Oh, he
final.
just won, didn't he?
Yes.
Phenomenal young man right there too.
Yes.
Samoa Joe. You met him?
Phenomenal young man. You know, a lot of them came over and
I
they
met
trained
him
here
in,
in Louisville.
I met him in Richmond in 2006 when he was just getting into TNA. They had the Mountain Wrestling Association out in Winchester.
Yep.
But they were
Playboy
running.
Scott Hayes.
Yes.
I met him.
Chris and Scott Hayes. Yeah.
I met him when he
Dirty
came.
Kris,
when,
Mr. Hayes.
When
Yeah.
TNA, no Impact, when it was TNA,
Yeah, TNA. Impact,
they came to
same
Lawrenceburg,
difference.
and I met him and AJ Styles when they were with TNA, and we didn't meet. Like, I guess back then they didn't, like you said, the heels never come out, so I didn't get to meet Rick Steiner, or not Scott Steiner, or Kurt Angle, or any of those
Yeah.
guys. But we met all the baby faces, and they were all just great. Looks like it. Is it over?
You know,
Yeah, this is it. I think they're going to be in the final match on Sunday, the Owen Hart tournament final.
Yeah, you know, we were talking earlier and got sidetracked, but they used to, the heels, because they couldn't come out and sell their merch, they were paid the most.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then then of course when the bad guys, they get paid the most, and then you would go to the females and the midgets. The midgets would get the heels got the most money because they couldn't sell their merch. The midgets got a lot of money because they were in short demand, and it was the same way with the women. If you could get a woman to come in and she had a following, then of course you would pay her, because as an old rule of thumb, as the old guys, again, they didn't really respect a lot of the female wrestling. But the key thing is, and a mentor of mine, Paul Bosch, a lot of people don't even remember Paul, but one of the greatest promoters of all time.
And a lot of his work is still done today. We just don't know that it came from his.
Right. You see a lot of times contract signings, the arm wrestling deals and things like that. Those were all Paul Bosch. He took that to Houston, and Houston, Texas in general. You had the Von Erichs, Bill Watts. You had some exceptionally good wrestling in the state of Texas. But Paul Bosch, he wasn't happy being territorial. Paul Bosch was so good at what he done. Like I say, the contract signings, the arm wrestling match. Look, this cat would come in and bring these guys in. He would take all the ropes off of the ring. Yep. Because fans had the mystique of, the ropes are up, they're going to just break out into a wrestling match. Paul Bosch, he was innovative in the fact that he would take all those rings off to push all that out of the fan's head. Yep. But it's still being done today. And it's because of people like Paul Bosch. And when he lit up Texas, Vince McMahon Sr., rest his soul, he looked at him and said, hey, you know what? I got to bring this guy to New York. And he did. So for a guy, in a local indie scene, not indie, they didn't call it that back in the day. We called them the territories. So here's a cat that's lighting up the territory scene in Texas, so much so that one of the biggest companies going brought him from Houston to New York. And again, they're still using Paul Bosch stuff to this day.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, it really is. We started out in the Olympics with the Greeks. Then when it became more and more popular, and they went away from the Roman Greco style, then we went into just pro collegiate wrestling, if you will. But after they was watching an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of an armbar, because nobody could beat Ed the Strangler Lewis. Nobody could beat him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the Mafia had anything to do with this, but they were in a lot of things. The Mafia don't exist. Cosa Nostra don't exist. We all know that, right? And so they took Ed Lewis and they said, look, we got a way to make some money here. There's nobody in the world, because Hackenschmidt and all these guys, they would try, and they would just, for hours, they would be in deadlock. Ed Lewis was so good. Hackenschmidt, all these guys were good. But nobody around the world, not just the United States, around the world, Germany was big at the time, nobody could beat Ed Lewis. So they come in and they said, look, let's make a lot of money. Nobody can beat you. So when we go out here on this next event, everybody's going to put their money on you. You're going to take a dive. And right there, gentlemen, Predetermined was born.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool. That's awesome.
A lot of people hear the word predetermined and they automatically go to the F word. Not the FU word, but the other F word.
And I'm glad you handled it that way, Sean, because I'd hate to flip this table over.
No, sir.
I hate that word.
I hate that word. That's the worst thing you can call anything.
That word sucks.
Johnny, when they say that to me, I invite them to do one thing. Not to take a bump, backflip, whatever you want to call it. That is like being in a car wreck at 30 miles an hour.
Yep.
Every time you take a bump, it's like being in a car wreck at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody can do that. I mean, it looks easy, but it's just not
everybody
easy.
can do it. No.
I always equate it to you'll see a guy on an old show back in the day, Walker, Texas Ranger. There's a guy signed on the show. He signed on that show. At the end of that episode, he's going to get arrested by Walker and get his head kicked in.
And it probably derived from
and
wrestling.
he'll get
Exactly. They don't understand, and then I'm like, Ice-T's not a real cop on CSI, or LL Cool J's not a real cop on whatever other CSI or whatever they're on. I'm like, they're not like, when they say that, I'm like, And plus, just like, why do you even care? Like, if you don't like it, or if you're not a fan, then just don't watch it. Why would you like try to shit on anything else? It's just like, why does people try to shit on other people? Because they're just like, they're just jealous of what you're doing.
They're miserable in their own life.
Exactly.
And so when I have someone use the F word to me, I say to them, don't worry about taking a bump. You just get in that ring and you run them ropes. Those are steel cables.
Yep.
They're steel cables. You run them sons of bitches for about 2 minutes, then I'll show you a little respect. You can say what you got to say.
Or just get in the ring and announce the guys that are coming out and don't fumble it. Like,
look, when I came in, if you fumbled something, whether you was the announcer, whether you was another wrestler, whether you was the referee, if you flubbed something up and you was in the ring with a guy like Dale Mann or some of these other old vets, look, they'd slap the shit right out of you.
Yeah.
I have been on shows where that's happened.
Yeah.
Referee will miss a spot. Hey, right there in the middle of everybody, these vets would just knock the hell out of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me tell you didn't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah. Just like we was growing up, my dad would do the same shit to me. He's like, yeah. And then you just didn't fuck up no more, I said the F word, but I'm sorry about that. But guys, we have been here 2 hours already, a little bit over 2 hours now.
Really?
And
Yeah. It feels like 20 minutes because we've been,
Oh
we've
yeah,
been flowing.
I loved having you guys in here. I don't want to keep you guys much further, but if you got anything, we'll wrap this up. If you got anything to plug, Austin or Scott?
Let me push it to Austin.
Gladly. Austin_Diamonds_display on Instagram, Austin Diamond on Facebook. Of course, check me out. I've got many great followers over there. Before New Jack passed, he had followed me. Headbanger Thrashers followed me, many others. Feel free to check me out. I post figure-based content, general wrestling takes, so on and so forth. And you have the privilege of having me on your Instagram feed. Mr. Diamond, I'll pass it to you.
Well, right there's what it's all about. You can have the greatest product in the world, but if you can't get it out, nobody knows it. All over the place. Go check out Austin Diamond, up-and-coming star. He's got his first actual match in June. One hell of a kid, whether he's mine or not. You know what? I tell him the same truth that I tell every kid that has ever come down the pike. And I've been blessed to have created several characters, some of which have done very well. One here lately that's going strong is Adrian Alexander. I don't know if you've seen him.
Yes. Great
Check
job.
him out.
Great.
Great kid. I'm telling you, this kid is going to go places. Same with Omega. He's had the opportunity to sit under many a learning tree, and I'm blessed that he comes and asks me also for advice and things of that nature. Another kid that's going to be around as long as they want to be, because these two kids they're tearing up the scene right now, which is one of the reasons that in January I'm going to step back. I've had a great career. But it's time to let Austin, let Adrian, let Omega, let these young guys get out there and make a name for themselves.
Exactly.
And at KEPW, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, we are in the Frankfurt Plaza. It's 811 Louisville Road. We have a event on June the 4th. That is our next one. It's Respect, and that's what it's all about. Come and check us out there. I appreciate you guys having us on.
We appreciate you.
Scott Diamond, KEPW, we're on the social media sites as well. Come and check it out. We're going to bring to you great wrestling. This is the Scott Diamond Retirement Tour. I'll be going around the country this year and doing some shows and saying my goodbyes. And actually, we'll be in Virginia in June, and I may be there 1 or 2 times, be saying my goodbyes. Come on out and see it, because I'll tell you this. Scott Diamond and the Diamond Cartel, Austin Diamond, Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, we believe in bringing you the best for your buck. We will give you not only great wrestling, we're going to give you other things beyond that. It's a community thing. Yes. We if you need something, come check us out. We have started a trust fund for 2 little boys that lost their father. We had a young girl fighting cancer, a baby. She's 3 or 4 years old. We raised a lot of money to help her fight her cancer. We give back every year to the homeless. One of the biggest things when you think about doing something for the homeless, people say, oh, well, they're out on the street, they need blankets and coats. Someone came to me one year, and it just really blew me away, something that we don't generally think about. Toiletries, their toothbrush,
Yeah, exactly.
Their toilet papers, just things that we take for granted, soap, shampoo, and things like that. So if you come to KEPW or if you look up Scott Diamond or Austin Diamond, one thing for sure, you're going to enjoy it. If you need something, we're going to help you get that. If you're just looking at enjoyment, we're going to give you that too. We're going to give you the best that wrestling has to offer and a little bit more.
From evil, mean, and nasty to clean cut and classy, family-friendly fun for everybody. Come and see us.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Bobby Blade says retirement.
Bobby, I love you. Let me look. This guy hates when you put him over too, but I'm
Yes, he
telling
does.
you, I have worked with this guy for years. If I could get him out of retirement for just this year to roll down the road with me, you know, in the old days we'd always tell the guys, "I'll see you down the road," because we always knew somewhere we were going to bump back into each other.
Right.
I have so much respect for Bobby Blade. Here's a guy. You know, they talk about promos, and these kids today think promos are just talking about themselves. If you can tell a story without saying a word, you've done something. And when it comes to Bobby Blade, and I'm saying this right to you, my friend, best handshake in the business. Not only that, the best body language and facial expressions in the business. Bobby Blade could go out and wrestle your arm off, but he could also go out with just a few body movements and just a little bit of facial expression. He could tell a story without doing one wrestling move. This guy is phenomenal. He's always hard on himself, but he is a great guy, and he is a encyclopedia. To steal yours, Shawn.
That's fine.
He is a encyclopedia
So they're gonna
of
have to get all
wrestling
three of us together
knowledge.
and do a trivia contest and see who
Not only
has.
that, I think Bobby, you still owe me a pair of Rockports because you stole my Italian leather shoes that time. I'm just going to throw that out there. And after he took my shoes, he gave me the blade cutter, and I haven't been right since. But
Right.
Bobby Blade, great guy. I love you, man.
Most certainly.
I remember that night.
Was
I
you in
there
Georgetown?
that night.
Yeah.
Yes. I was there that night.
You know, those were expensive shoes. You know,
Yeah,
you
they
guys,
were.
Scott
'Cause-
Diamond is custom made.
Well, but you wanted Bobby to lay down that night.
Well, he didn't lay down. He sure.
Oh, he laid down, but then after you placed your foot on his chest, you know
Things went awry.
Yeah.
say the
there we go.
least.
That was the first night I've ever seen you in action. Like, I was at an Impact show in Corbin, Kentucky in 2013.
Was that when we were down there? I had a match with Wildcat Chris Harris.
You didn't have a match that night. You were
Managing-
just in there in your suit. Wildcat wasn't there. This was in 2013. You had just come up. Me and a buddy of mine were at the merchandise stand. You're in there, and you're in your
Custom made, baby.
custom-made suit. I said, "Look at you, dressed to the nines." He said, "All right, guys, see, we got a show in You know, you were plugging your show in Georgetown the following.
I will market
believe it was the
wrestling to
following
everybody
week.
I talk to.
Yes, you were, and that's when I met you. And then I started going back because I would go to Georgetown a lot with Cujo and Felony Fox.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. I
Yeah.
loved working with them. A lot of people have to. That's them. I
Right
treat
on.
them how they treat me. And
Right
they
on.
were always cool with me. So, in my opinion, they're cool people.
You know, Felony and Cujo, our relationship mostly was good. We had one small hiccup, very small. I was in Harlan again back in those days. You know, I was doing 4, 5, 6 days a week, and so I was in Harlan, and I deal with some health issues, and more so at the time. But you know, I had some bleeding on the inside going on and stuff, and so as much as I hated it, I probably only canceled 3, maybe 4 times in my illustrious career. But I had to say to them, look, you know, I'm not going to be able to make it. You know, I'm passing blood and this and that, and so I think it upset them a little bit, and so they happily said, we don't really need you as an announcer anymore. And at the time for them, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But once they seen the following that left when Scott Diamond wasn't there, because, again, I love wrestling. 2 weeks later, I think it was, I went to one of their shows. You remember back then they were running every week.
Yep.
And so, I didn't go the week that I was supposed to go because of, again, medical issues.
Right.
And so they released me. And so still loving wrestling the way that I did, I went into the next show just as a patron, you know, just to sit back
as a
and watch.
fan. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because, again, my love of wrestling. And don't you know, they quickly sent a gentleman out of the locker room to come get Scott Diamond because they said, hey, we made a small error. We didn't really know what to do with you, but once we seen what you brought to the table, would you please come back and work with us? And certainly I did. Because, again, for me, it wasn't about the small hiccup that we had. It was about the love of wrestling. You know, a gentleman and myself, another worker, another wrestler, if you will, we had an altercation one evening of which we got it pretty well straightened out real quick because that's the way Scott Diamond is.
That's right.
When I say we're going to get an understanding, we're going to get an understanding. And I'm not going to mention this guy's name, but I'm not taking away from him either. He was a big, great wrestler, true to the art, tough guy, true tough guy. He was the Dickie Slater, you know, of the independent scene by far. And so even though he and I had just had a disagreement, an altercation, if you will, he was supposed to be main eventing a Georgetown show. And because he and I grew up in the same area, which a lot of us did, shout out to, Shawn and the guys up there. Brian Jr., because Brian grew up there with me as well, Brian Pillman and whatnot, Sean Casey and the guys. But Felony came to me and said, look, man, I know you guys just had an altercation last week, but he's main event, and he doesn't have a ride. Would you put your personals aside? I feel like with you guys growing up in the same area, you know where he lives. And I said, I certainly do know where he lives. Right. Again, we all grew up, this guy, Sean Casey, and, even Chris Harris. Yeah. We all grew up in the same area. I just happened to be an ancient year older than them. And so I told her, look, it's not about the altercation between him and I. It's about the love of the business. Exactly. That's what Scott Diamond is about.
Yes, sir.
The love of professional wrestling. And you know what? I got right in my car. I drove right to his house. He got in my car. We had a nice talk on the way down, and it was never mentioned again. And, I did what was best for wrestling, and that was put your personals aside. We all have personals. Andy, you have them. Sean, Johnny, we all have our personals. But when you come to the ring, you leave that shit in the car.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And do the work that you're supposed to, and for the fans, and for yourself and the fans, and respect the wrestling.
Exactly.
That's right. You're paid to do a job. If you want to protest, cry, or bellyache, you do that on your own time. When you're paid to do a job, and anybody that's ever seen Scott Diamond as a bad guy, I do my job exceptionally well. Right. So much to the point, and again, Pops, I love you, man. I miss my dad so much. The first time my dad ever seen me a bad guy, he went out and sat in a truck, and I was on the stage. I was in the ring. I couldn't just... And so when I come as soon as I came to the locker room, they said, Scott, something's wrong. Your father's leaving. And so, it was after he had been sick, and so I was worried, and I run out there, and my mother's putting him in the truck, and I said, Pop, what's wrong, man? And, my pop was a very respectful man. He never shook a man's hand sitting on his ass. He never told us kids goodbye without telling us he loved us and giving us a kiss. It didn't matter if he was a boy, girl, man, woman. My pop, he'd kiss you, shake your hand, say, I love you. He stared straight out that window. I opened that door, and I talked to him, and I talked to him, and I talked to him. He would not answer me, to the point that it worried me, and I asked my mother, is he okay? And she said, he's okay. He's just a little pissed off, And I said, look, Pop, if I did something to piss you off, please tell me, because that's the last thing that I want to do. And the only thing that my dad said to me that day, he said, and I quote, you're a cheating son of a bitch, and I didn't raise you that way. And he turned around and he looked forward again. He wouldn't shake my hand. He wouldn't kiss me. He wouldn't say goodbye. All he said, and again, I'll quote, you're a cheating son of a bitch, and I didn't raise you that way. Wow. Pop didn't understand at the time because he was a true wrestling fan.
Yeah.
He bought into all of it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Which you need fans like that too.
Certainly, and and one of his biggest nights, he was there. I used to do a television spot like Piper's Pit, the Diamond Exchange, and so when I had Greg Valentine on that time, my dad loved the Hammer. He loved the Hammer, and one of his greatest things was getting a picture with the Hammer. But buddy, when it come to being a good guy and a bad guy, He cheered for the good guy, and if you was a bad guy, even though I was his son,
Wow.
he would let you know that ain't right.
That's great.
Right.
That's
I
great.
love it.
That's a great story. That
You
was
know what?
great.
Talking about the love for wrestling, and especially in that time period, that neck of the woods, I want to take this opportunity to say a couple of thank yous real quick. Because
Certainly.
really, my love of the business really exploded in that time period, whether it was in Lawrenceburg, Georgetown, 37 states over. So, you know what? Quick shout out, Bobby Blade. Much love to you. The fact that I've got a picture with you means the world to me. You know what? Out there in G-Town, much love to you. You know what? Jerry Bishop is another one. Much love to you. I can think of a gentleman with a bad attitude.
Right on.
Much love to him. And you know what? One more. I can think of a legendary name, and I happen to remember a picture with that individual. Do I remember a tray being burst into 1,000,000 pieces or so?
Yes, he's referring to TNA Impact star Larry D, legendary Larry D.
Yeah.
You know, Larry
We're
and I,
trying to get Larry on the show.
look, him and I have been up and down the roads many times. He even at one point was a part of the Diamond Cartel, and we were on the same side a time or two. We were opposite sides a time or two. But there's a lot of political red tape behind the scenes sometimes, but nothing but love and respect for legendary Larry D.
Yeah.
We've
Oh,
done
we're
a
big
lot of great
fans around
things. And actually, it wasn't a pinfall, but Scott Diamond has a win over legendary Larry D.
Oh, okay.
True story. True
right.
story. At the first Scott Diamond birthday bash, somebody had canceled. We had a 12-person battle royal, and I say person because we had one female, only one female in all these great years ever do the $1,000 battle royal and be a part of the Scott Diamond birthday bash. And Shawn, you probably know this, but I want to shout out to her too. We've always had a love-hate relationship, and I'm really glad that we love each other more than the hate. Is the amazing Maria?
Yes. Love her.
Here's a girl that her and I have been up and down the roads with. We've created riots together. We share a grandson together. And she is the only woman that was on the Scott Diamond birthday bash ever. And, so she was in that battle royal. But at the end of the night, one man didn't show up. So Larry had got in there. Larry D, he was a big guy, still a big guy.
Still huge.
Tough as nails. He chews on penny nails and shits out cannonballs.
Yeah.
But, when we had the battle royal, he just eliminated everybody. He just throwing them out left and right. Again, big guy, tough guy. And so I asked the booker, I said, look, it was supposed to be a 12-person battle royal. We only had 11. Can I get in? And so, of course, Diamonds were smart. We're all about the brains. I waited till those other 10 people were eliminated before I ever made my plea to the booker. And when I did, it just so happened that, Larry D was a part of King Hustle's court at the time.
Yep.
Another big fashion that went around winning titles all over the place. And so they started celebrating just a little bit too early. So when they thought that Larry had won that $1,000 and he goes over and tells King Hustle, hey, we're going to the bar tonight, I just kind of Pearl Harbored him and bumped him up a little bit and flipped him over. And, there's Scott Diamond's win over the legendary Larry D. Oh, wow. And I took home with $1,000. Larry's probably still wanting that $1,000.
I still need that 1,000.
Now, this guy right here has had his time in the sun, but let's not forget this is about me. Now, he's talking about how he pulled one over on Larry D, and he'll never tell you this, but I sure will. I've got a pinfall victory over Larry D in a parking lot in Harlan, Kentucky. I've got it on video. I'll send it to you if I have to. I will forever have that to my name. Even if it was 10 years ago. Don't forget it.
Shout out to Amazing Maria. She works backstage at OVW, helping them run their show.
Yeah, she's ahead of the women's division over there.
Yeah, head of the women's division. She's the mother of another great talent.
Second generation, that's right.
Second generation, Hollywood, Haley J. A lot of times I'd sit in the crowd, I'd watch the shows, and God love her, I'd be sitting about right here. We sit there and cut up with Hollywood, Haley J when she was a kid. When I first seen her, I didn't put the two and two together. I've seen Maria. I'm like, wait a minute. She goes, mm-hmm. I said, is that my little buddy that I used to? She goes, yep, that's her.
Yeah.
I said, wow.
You know,
I didn't put
Time flies. Time
Yeah,
flies.
time flies, and that's we'd sit around.
There's
and-
another youngster that I watched grow up. You know,
Yes.
she spent many a time at our house. Maria and I would be on the road, you know, and she had 2 children, Logan and Hollywood. And you know, both of those children, if we weren't able to take the children on the road with us, you know, they were at our house. And if not, Austin was at their house. You know, Maria and I.
It was their pleasure, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Still waiting on my
And,
check for those appearances.
But you know, I love both of those women. I'm really proud of Hollywood Haley J.
Yes.
She's doing great things. I think again, if I made a prediction, I predict that she is going to be around for a long, long time. And you know, it's when you find somebody like Amazing Maria, or you find somebody like Scott Diamond, and they love and have a passion for this business so much, you can't help to think or to hope that someday that it will overflow onto our children as it has, you know, Austin Diamond or Hollywood Haley J.
Yeah.
Because truly, again, they are. Maria's had a great career. I've had a great career. But Hollywood Haley J and Austin Diamond, you know,
The sky is the limit.
they are our legacy right there. It really is.
Yes.
Definitely. Much love to Haley J. Pleasure to see her pick up where her mom left off. You know what? And like he was saying, that goes back a long ways, whether it was sitting in the hotel talking about Jeff Hardy or sitting in her living room playing SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. You know what? Now to see her running on OVW, going from state to state on planes, you know what? Seeing her little boy grow up, nothing but love to her and hers. Glad to see her doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right on. And if I may, you know, we were talking about, you know, the companies in the area, you know, promoting each other and stuff, and which we all, not all of us, I don't want to say all of us, but a lot of us do. So at this time also, I would like to shout out, you know, to OVW. Al Snow, great guy. I've known him a long time, you know, great guy. Matt over there, he's an amazing with the media outlets and the pull that he has in that area.
Matt Smith from Kentucky Sports Radio?
No, Matt Jones. It's Matt Jones.
Matt Jones. Why am I thinking Matt
Jones?
Smith?
And then you got Chad's over there as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, those 3 guys, they make a beautiful mesh because all 3 of them bring something different to the table. And I got nothing but respect for all of them.
Yes.
I've been friends with Chad for a while. You know, I've been friends with Al for a while, and they are doing great things. There's so many places, and I want everybody that's watching this, if you're living in the state of Kentucky or if you're living in any of the lower 48 states, go out and see an independent professional show, because I'll tell you this, you'll get a better connection, you'll have a better time. These people are more passionate, they have more drive to bring you the best that they could bring you because they put their name on it. Above the company that they're with, they're stamping that with their name. And these guys right here, you know, OVW, UCW, you know, New South, there's so many right now. You know, Allied Pro Wrestling is a newborn company that's really doing really well. There's just events everywhere. And if you love wrestling, do not cheat yourself and stay just at the bigger dance. Do yourself a favor, and I guarantee you got Scott Diamond's guarantee. If you take in an independent pro wrestling event, you will have the best time of your life. I guarantee it.
It's always so fun, like to go to indie shows. They're so fun.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm always so surprised of all the work that you guys put in down there. When I showed up down in Frankfurt last Saturday, I was so surprised with the way y'all's product looked. So surprised with Austin's announcing, the way that you know, just the way that y'all had the place just set up. It was just great.
You know, we worked in that building for a month to get it ready, and the big Doss man, you know, he, like myself, he's a man of many hats, and so he stays busy all the time. And there were some times that it was 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We were over there working on that building, you know, and Austin was a part of it. My wife was a part of it. You know, the big Doss man, Becky Steele was a part of it. You know,
We will
Big
not
brand.
leave Brandon out of that. There we go.
Right. Big Brandon Keith. I mean, there were so many people that came in and put in time behind the scenes to get that building ready. And again, it goes back to the hunger, the desire to put out a good product. That's why we were there sometimes to midnight and then turn around. You know, I'd go home and book shows till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, lay down for about 45 minutes and get up and you know, maybe do something all day construction wise or whatever.
Yeah.
And the Big Doss Man as well, Brandon Keith as well. I mean, we really, and I know I keep beating a dead horse, but we really have a love for what we do. We really have a desire not to be a hobby. If this is a hobby, get the hell out.
No,
Get
it's
the
not a
hell
hobby.
out, because I can tell you,
It's all a job.
all or nothing.
Even this podcast is just a job. Like, you know,
Yeah.
me and Johnny Lee and Shawn, we promote all week for these shows. And
Johnny Lee more than all of us combined.
yeah. Let me. Hey, you know, I feel kind of bad. We kind of left him out tonight, but let me tell you about this cat. You know, I see him coming
Johnny
to these.
stood up and getting camera, brother.
Yeah, brother, come on in here with Scotty D. Let me tell you, I'm going to put you over, and when Scott Diamond puts you over, you're going to make money. I can tell you, the next 2 days, you're going to sign more autographs than you've ever signed before. This cat right here, talk about love for the business. Not only does he promote as himself, not only this podcast, he promotes every wrestling thing that he comes across. So much so, he created his own character, if you will.
Yes, his own
you know,
persona.
Super Fandango or something.
Super Fandito. That's his brother. That's his real life brother.
Yeah, his little brother.
Jose
Fandito. But let me tell you, this again, him, Andrew Dew Browning, Miss Nancy, this is so important to professional
Exactly.
wrestling that you just can't put it on a scale.
Yeah.
So from Scott Diamond, brother, I appreciate
Damn
everything you do.
I appreciate you.
And I'm going to get 10% of every autograph that he signs.
That's right.
I learned that from Jimmy Cornette, let me tell you.
You learned that from Austin Michaels.
And
Stop lying.
soon in a couple.
I mean, Austin Diamond. Sorry.
in a
Why am I
few-
thinking Austin Michaels? Sorry.
in a
Owe me an
few-
apology.
I'm going to
Yeah, I do
announce
owe
right
you
now. In a
apology.
few
I do
weeks,
apologize for getting your name wrong, sir.
in a few weeks, we're going to have super fan Johnny Lee and his brother Fandito on the same show.
That's right.
Hey, that's going to
I
be
don't know
tough.
how we're going to make that work, but we're going to make it work.
We'll figure something out.
Well, you know, that split screen.
That's
Yeah.
right, but
We'll figure out something.
You know, when Downtown Charlie Brown came out, they just kept saying, hey, that's Jimmy Valiant under that hood. And I had to remind him, that is not Jimmy Valiant because he does not wear a hood.
exactly.
You know,
Mask.
yeah, there you go. He doesn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
A character's a character.
See, he's
Exactly.
catching me already. I'm
Like,
using words I shouldn't use.
We couldn't prove that Dusty Rhodes was the Midnight Rider because Dusty never wore a mask.
He never wore a mask. You know, same thing when they came out with Hogan and they thought he was Mr. America. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was not Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan does not wear a mask. These people got to, you know, it's like how ludicrous were they when they said Ric Flair is the Black Scorpion? Why would Ric Flair want to be the Black Scorpion? One, he'd have to cover up that illustrious face
Ric Flair's
And
Ric
that
Flair.
hair.
Yeah, exactly.
and that hair. Sean, you're not picking on my hair, are you? You
No,
I
sir.
keep-
No,
okay.
sir. No, sir.
I've got 3 up there, and I weave them together,
Hey,
and I think they
leave
look
'em
pretty
there,
good.
brother.
You know.
exactly.
Yeah, they're probably, you know, I've been running since early this morning. I came straight here from doing some other things, and
Oh, my goodness.
so my hair's probably a little messed up, but that's only going to be the only time you're ever going to see Scott Diamond with his hair messed up. I guarantee you that.
We must never forget about that girl, kayfabe.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we've all been with Kay.
There's one
Yeah.
for Al. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah, Hal.
Guys, we're at 3 hours now.
Look, we're going to have to, you know,
yeah, I don't want, you know.
yeah, we're going to have to get the heck on out of here. Again, I appreciate you guys having us on. It means a lot.
we
It's a very
thank you.
special night, you know, to have Austin Diamond on his first podcast and be sharing this. You know, I'm
It
just
is
so
our
grateful that
pleasure,
he
sir.
allowed me to
Most
share
certainly.
this time with him.
I know, right?
Because living with Scott Diamond is not easy.
I'm surprised I'm even here.
You know what?
We don't, like, he doesn't need any of us.
I'll
here.
tell you the truth. I just didn't want to have to carry it on my back for the last 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you could.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I do. But you know what? To tell you the truth, I'm kind of tired of all these women in my phone. I'm going to start forwarding them to this guy over here.
Yeah, Johnny's going to start getting
All right.
all those.
Johnny,
Look,
yeah.
Any single ladies?
Yeah, Johnny's single. Look here, buddy. I'll tell you what. He'll be the next guy out catting.
That's right.
You know, they all thought Patrick Swayze was a ladies man.
Good
When
Lord.
we throw Johnny out there to him.
Roadhouse 2. I hear Roadhouse 2 coming. The sequel.
Johnny is even going to surpass the great Wilt Chamberlain.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
You
You
know,
gotta look up Will Chamberlain, Johnny.
So let's wrap this
Trust me.
guys up. Austin, shout out your social medias again.
One more time, Austin Diamond's display on Instagram, Austin Diamond on Facebook. Come and see me for all your figure-related content you could ever want to see. But far more importantly, you'll see me on your feed, and that's what's important.
Scott?
yeah, definitely. Anybody that gets an opportunity, no matter what state it's in, go out and support independent professional wrestling. You'll get the best connection that you'll ever get. And if you're in Kentucky, come out and see New South Championship Wrestling. Come out and see Ultimate Championship Wrestling. Come out and see APW, Allied Pro Wrestling. And most of all, come out and see Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, Scott Diamond, and all your KEPW fan favorites. Again, for Scott Diamond, this is going to be the retirement tour. So look for Scott Diamond in the state of Tennessee. I'll be saying my goodbyes. Look for Scott Diamond over in West Virginia, I'll be over there saying my goodbyes. I'll be in Indiana, I'll be in Ohio, and certainly in the state of Kentucky. Come on out. If you see Scott Diamond on the marquee, this may be your last chance. This is the Scott Diamond Retirement Tour, but no matter what state I'm in, if you see Scott Diamond on the marquee, lay your money down. You're going to get your money's worth. Thank you, gentlemen, for having us.
Sir.
And
Thank you.
thank
Sean-
the world of professional wrestling for allowing Scott Diamond to have such
Sean,
a great career.
any last words?
It has been my pleasure to be in the sit under the learning tree of Mr. Scott Diamond and especially Austin Diamond.
You're learning, kid.
We're not worried.
Thank you, sir. We're not worthy. That's right.
Exactly.
A wise man has said, as it pertains to professional wrestling, those that get it, you don't need an explanation. Those that don't, no explanation will ever do. I
Right on.
appreciate all wrestling fans. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Love you.
And now I'm on the hot seat of having to say something really smart and inspirational, but I don't know. Guys,
just
for
wouldn't
all
be
your
your
internet gaming needs, check out Royal X on Facebook at 859-684-9176. And they give away thousands of dollars in prizes every day. They're giving away an Oculus at the end of this month, I think. Tell them Nice Guy Andy sent you over there. And thank you guys for coming in. The Diamond Exchange, right? And Scott Diamond, Austin Diamond.
Far more
Cartel.
importantly, Austin Diamond. There we go.
Most important, Austin Diamond. And hopefully maybe you can come on with Saturday.
And
maybe
thank you
come
to
Saturday.
special guest Jessica Diamond. We
Jessica
appreciate
Diamond's
you.
here. And over off screen, super fan
get in the picture,
Johnny
brother. Get on
Lee has been here the whole time. He's been sitting in the corner watching wrestling with us and taking in the stories. And
If I may say just one thing.
I appreciate you,
real short.
Johnny, the
sir.
most.
Just, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Andy.
No, you go ahead.
But I didn't want to get away because I feel like I forgot somebody. I left somebody out. For you fans out here, show some love to Nice Guy Andy and his crew, Sean and Johnny. Because, again, wrestling is a puzzle. These guys are a very important piece of the puzzle because they bring to you, the fans, all the information that you're looking for. They bring you the action that you're looking for. And these guys right here, they're top-notch. They got the Scott Diamond seal of approval.
Wow.
If you're looking for a podcast to watch, to update yourself on some wrestling or to learn something about wrestling, tune in to these guys right here because they do a hell of a job.
And I'd like to build on that. You know what? June 4th, respect. Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling, 811 Louisville Road. Respect, 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 respect. As this cat's story comes to a close, we have to remember there are two given truths in this world. The clock ticks and diamonds are forever. Again, his story comes to a close and mine just starts. And you know what? It's guys like these opening doors for people like me, giving me a spot in the limelight. So again, I thank you guys for that. It's a pleasure
Yes,
being
sir.
out here. And you know what? Maybe just some of that pleasure was mine tonight.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
right.
impressed with this guy. Thank you guys. Thank all the fans that tuned in tonight to watch us, and thanks Bobby Blade for messages. Tony Presley for messaging us.
Yes.
We have some
Andrew
big names
Dubrowny,
in
thank
the.
you he had to leave early. I'm
Yeah, we
looking
had some
at
big
you
names
were-
in the
we were too
audience
busy
tonight.
doing this.
I don't
Yeah.
even know who else is watching us. But Leon
Shout,
Baxenden.
shout out to Kia. Thank you for watching.
She's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody else but Austin thinks you're awesome. He thinks you're just okay. So we'll take it as that.
Guess we're gonna be off here, guys, and stay nice.
That's right.
Always the nice guy in any podcast.
Wow. That's
Wow.
I have had such a great
Go all
time.
night too. If we could.
And I'll be honest, I was thinking today, I was like, man, I've done an interview back in December or January right before the bash. And I hadn't done an interview since then. And I don't do as often as I used to. And when I was reading the messages that John and yourself were sending me,
yeah.
I thought, man, can I really go 2 hours still? And I was kind of not worried, wouldn't be the word that I used, but I was kind of thinking that, man, I haven't done this in a while, so I don't want to drop the ball. And here we came in, like you said, Sean, I feel like I've been here 20 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
great. I would love for you guys.
When you
Anytime
said 3
guys
hours,
wanna
I was like,
come back,
holy moly.
anytime you guys want to come back, Austin, anytime you want to come
Love
back,
back.
Yeah.
Scott, anytime you want to come back,
I'm actually
anytime you guys
just
have
late
anything
to
to
do something.
announce,
Kill
let
my
me know.
mom's side of the
We'll
family.
announce it.
Bruno?
We are definitely,
Great
Yeah.
wrestler.
definitely
And my
friends of
family
K.
actually flipped the
W.
rings before.
Remind me, text
I
me in
never
the
knew
near
that
future.
till they started talking
Genuinely,
about
I'm genuinely very busy.
He's a great
I'm getting
wrestler.
2 full-time
Yes, he
gigs right
was.
now, outside of wrestling, and then of course with wrestling, my schedule's extremely hectic. But like Saturdays and Sundays are your best bet with me. Of course, every other Saturday I'm at his house. KEPW. Buddy,
He'd be the only 18-year-old with gray hair.
Exactly.
Runs
Hey, if you
my
want to
family.
come back, if you want to come Sunday and watch the battle between him and Leon, that'd be
Heck
great.
yeah, brother.
I think
Your
I have.
son, I liked him, man.
Yeah,
he had a
he's
really
great.
He's lots of fun. He's lots of fun.
He's a real good kid. Oh yeah.
It's lots of
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
And if you want
It'd be nice. Like this is what I would like for you to do.
Yeah.
This is what I would
I
like
think
to do.
he made one of our
Maybe you
belts.
come in and
Dude.
announce both
I
of
think
them,
he did
and
one
then
of our
have Johnny in a ref.
Yeah.
In a referee outfit.
Oh my God, yes.